Hey everybody, here we go. This is Swamp Cleaner Harry. We're actually doing a actual proper live stream now. The last one I know you guys checked out was a test, but that's just to make sure I got everything connected. But now we're actually doing a proper live stream. I'm here today with Chris. You can check him out on Twitter at Chris Logic Media. That is Chris Logic Media, and we're going to be talking about pretty much anything that's going on. We're going to talk about Hurricane Harvey, the effects of the racial division narrative getting destroyed, anything that's going on in Australia, because this guy is from down under. And
G'day, mate.
yeah, there you go. Throw yourself in there. And so we're just going to get right into it. So, all right. So, where do you want to start, man?
I'm good to start wherever you want to start, brother. You've invited me onto your live stream, so hit the ground running.
All right. Yeah, I'm always a generous person, but okay, let's go. I want to start off with well, we've seen we all know what's happening in Texas right now, in Louisiana, the devastation that is happening, and the complete destruction of towns and villages, and the massive flooding that's happening in Houston. And before I say anything else, I want to just tell everybody that my thoughts and prayers go out to all those people who need help and who have been helped, and some of the people in the smaller communities who haven't been reached yet. But don't worry, everybody's praying for you, and you got a ton of people helping everybody out. You got the Cajun Navy, who are just pretty much average everyday boaters taking their pontoon boats, kayaks, float boats, like anything that can be seaworthy to get out there to anybody there. And I just want to say my thoughts and prayers are with all of you. And I'm pretty much going to actually start off with saying that this has a lot of similarity to what happened in Dunkirk back in 1940, when the British Expeditionary Force was trapped on the beach with another 400,000 plus French soldiers being surrounded by the German army, and the British Navy was stretched for seacraft, so they asked everyday ordinary seafaring individuals to take their private craft across the North Sea and to rescue as many people as possible, and they did so. And so I just I coined this with my friend the other day, that this is the Dunkirk of Texas, or the Dunkirk of America. And just want to know that it's just a complete honor to be considered that I am a part of this great nation that will pull together in times of disaster to really get things done. And this segues into how the racial narrative has been pretty much destroyed by this action. You have anybody, any skin color, creed, religion, background coming into the area to save anybody, whites, blacks, Latinos, Indian, it doesn't matter. I mean, everybody is a human being at the end of the day, and when they need help, people will come calling.
Yeah, well, it certainly does quash the racial narrative that has been pushed by the mainstream media, especially in the wake of Charlottesville. That you do have, I can't speak as someone being on the ground in the United States, but we've seen it over here. The racial narrative that was being pushed after Charlottesville, and certainly in the coverage that we're seeing over here in regard to Harvey, we're seeing the coverage that everyone's pulling together, regardless of race, color, creed, gender, etc. You can't hide that.
Well, that's good. I mean, I'm glad to know that it's pretty much just the mainstream media is trying to spin in the narrative, and it's only here in America that they're trying to spin it for the people who are completely intertwined with their racial biases, to where it's I'm glad to know that other parts of the world are getting the actual reality, the actual images of what is really happening. And that's good to hear, because this social justice, this racial division, this bias.
Just to actually clarify, there isn't any discussion of race in the coverage that we're getting.
See,
at all.
That's better. That's great. That's great. I mean, it just shows that things are completely divisive right now in America. But I mean, in some other countries, that I'm glad that it's not everywhere in the world, that some people still have level heads and just can look at the reality of what's going on.
I mean, we are getting a sort of, how would you say, a light version of what you guys have over there, especially in the wake of Charlottesville, with the Confederate statues being torn down. That has sort of played out over here to a lesser degree.
I know, I like what's happening with Australia Day. You got a bunch of different city councils trying to just ban Australia Day or change it to a different day. I'm like, what is that about?
Well, we've had Yarra City Council, which is in Melbourne, where I live. They've decided to no longer recognise Australia Day on January the 26th. And we've had Darebin City Council, which is also in Melbourne, on the sort of further out north side, who've also decided to no longer recognise January 26th as Australia Day. It's utter lefty lunacy.
I know. I heard that the government down there has pretty much stripped those councils of their duties of doing citizenship ceremonies for people.
Yeah, correct. And I think the federal government should take it one step further and actually strip these councils of federal funding.
Yeah, I mean, because it's not their job to discern what days should be honored and what days shouldn't, and how. I mean, I've seen videos done by Independent Man, other people who are based in Australia, that it shows how they skewed their polls and skewed their surveys by asking friends and cohorts of people on the council, and pretty much like what in I think it was in Yarra City Council, they asked like 81 people out of a total of 160,000 or something. I mean, my numbers are probably off, but that's pretty accurate?
Yeah, well, they did only poll 81 people, and the people they were polling were, as you said quite correctly, friends of the city council. They were left-wing activists. They didn't speak for the majority; they spoke for the vocal minority. And these local councils really need to stick to, there's people paying rates, in the Yarra area, in the Darebin area. They're not paying rates for these councils to go on these wild social justice, left-wing lunacy, bloody crusades. The ratepayers are paying for rubbish collection.
I mean, yeah, this is a complete waste of money and a complete waste of time.
Well, I mean, I don't want to hijack what you're talking about in regard to
talking. You can go right ahead.
Yeah, in regard to Harvey, but these local councils, local councils are basically are comprised of a bunch of people who were no good for state government. They were no good for federal government, but they want to act like they're big boys, and they're really not. And they're spending all this money on promoting same-sex marriage, which I'm for same-sex marriage. I'm not for the crazy activism that's surrounding it over here in Australia at the moment, the bullying that's going on, and ratepayers over here, shouldn't have their money going toward rainbow flags on the council building. Shouldn't have their money going toward these lunatics who want to cancel Australia Day. It's just ridiculous.
I mean, the notion of canceling or changing like Australia Day or any other national day, the founding of a nation like Canada Day or Independence Day here in America, just thinking you change July the 4th to any other day, it's ludicrous. Nobody would ever go for it. I mean, and to show that's why, as we go back to the fact that they surveyed their own friends, only surveyed a handful of people, shows that the majority would either completely don't have any opinion on this because it's not even a thought of their mind, or the actual people that were surveyed outside, like around 75% of Australians who are of like English or outside of the country background, and then you had about 51% of the actual native Australians saying no to this. So it comes out showing that nobody would ever have any kind of constitution or any kind of um, gut backing to actually get this done. This is complete out of the ballpark. I mean, it just
Well,
shows how they drive their narrative through and try to push it in.
yeah, well, it's rather interesting that the majority of immigrants or migrants to this country do not want the date changed, and it's. I sort of think that if I was an immigrant to this country or any other country, and my citizenship ceremony was held on that particular day,
It'd be
you know what I
special.
mean? Like,
Be
it's a
special to
special
you.
day.
I know,
Yeah.
because I mean, I'm not trying to take it from you, but since I'm an immigrant to America, I'm a Canadian myself, and I live here in America, and I'm waiting until after I get married to go for my citizenship. But that is going to be very important to me, and if I'm told that America is like a horrible country to live in, or it's founded on racism or some BS like that, you're stealing something from the people who want to become citizens of this country. I I I mean, these people have come here. I mean, whether you're from Canada or whether you're from Mexico or South America or anywhere in Europe or Africa or anywhere, and you do it legally, because there's a difference between illegal and legal. If you come here legally, that means you're striving because you believe in American values and you want to be a part of the American way of life. But if that gets undermined and usurped, it hollows you out, and it's like, does America even care about itself enough to care about people who want to come in? And you could
That's
probably
I
say that.
find this.
Go ahead.
So sorry, man. I was just going to say, you mentioned about these people who say, oh, America was founded on racism and, this colonialism and all this sort of rubbish. That narrative and that narrative gets rolled out from the left across,
Identity politics.
across every Western country, be it Canada, be it the United States, be it Australia. It's lunacy. It's lunacy.
It's a sick form of what I also heard from Independent Man and people of likes of Computing Ever. It's a sick form of ethnomasochism. Apparently, the only people who have done wrong in the history of the world are white people. And if countries were founded by white people, then they stole it from the indigenous population that lived there before then. I mean, but that's a debate when it comes to history. I mean, could the indigenous populations have built up a country that is similar to what we have now? We don't know, but that's history. The only thing you can do from history is learn from it and improve. And they want to take history. The leftists want to take history and they want to skew it and teach everybody this skewed form of history, and then hold it like a dagger over your head constantly and say, we're to blame, and this entire country or whichever country is founded on lies or founded on death and destruction, and it's just simply not true.
But name me one country, just off the top of your head, name me one country in the whole world that hasn't been invaded, hasn't been occupied. You can't. You can't.
No, I mean that's just
so
history.
If Australia hadn't been hadn't been discovered by Captain James Cook, which they're up in arms about that as well, because they're saying that James Cook discovered this land. Well, he did. He discovered it from a European perspective. If James Cook hadn't discovered Australia, then someone else would have. It's just, it's inevitable.
That's completely true. That's completely true. I mean, if for some chance somebody missed the entire continent and kept on swimming on to India or something, let's say for hypothetically nobody discovered Australia, and we advance to our technological level now that we have space satellites and stuff, and we take images of the world, say, hey, look, there's a giant continent right there. Who wants to be the first one to go there and claim that? I mean, it's the same thing. It doesn't matter if it would happen now, or if it doesn't matter if it happened 250, 300 years ago, that things get discovered. I mean, it's back then it was a sense of exploration. It's a sense of first come, first serve, and that's what it was actually treated in Europe when, like for example, when Christopher Columbus went out and searched for a new world over in the Americas, you had people from Spain, France, Portugal, England, all searching for new land, and it was actually talked about and spoken about in the parliaments of these different countries is pretty much first come, first serve. Whoever finds this new patch of land, that's yours.
Yeah, for sure. And the other thing is that this sort of goes back to your Confederate statues over in North America and our sort of colonial statues over here in Australia. You know, these statues serve as a reminder of history.
Mm-hmm. It's not supposed to glorify anything. It's just
no. It's a reminder of history, whether or not that history was good, whether or not that history was bad. We can look at these statues and we can learn from that. And the other thing is that you know, why are we holding history to the same standard, a moral standard, of 2017 or the 21st century?
Oh yeah, it's because it's the current year. That's why.
No, but yeah, but you know, we've evolved.
Mm-hmm.
You know that you have to look at, you know, anything that's happened even in recent history in the past 20 years. I mean, you look at the gay rights movement. You know, you can't hold historical figures and stuff like that in the same. Am I making sense?
Yeah, you can't hold the actions of how your founding fathers of America founded the nation through their own thought processes to how we think today. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, we just have to work with it now and just improve ourselves.
Exactly right. It's
a cognitive dissident. It's a cognitive dissonance that is portrayed from people who want to pretty much, they yearn for a time machine to go back to when Christopher Columbus was slaughtering natives in Cuba, to be like, pop in and be like, no, 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 don't do that. You're gonna make them all angry. And I'm just like, there's no, it's wishful thinking and it's destructive thinking, and it's not what we need to be taught to people, especially in colleges and universities nowadays. This whole revisionist version of history, to where the people doing the exploring were evil bad guys who were going around slaughtering people. I mean, yes, technically in history that's what happened, but you can't, there's nothing you can do about it. Why are we whining and moaning about it? You got to learn from it and improve so it doesn't happen again, because you hear it from historians, people all the time who understand history. If we don't learn from our history, we're doomed to repeat it.
Well, it's exactly why we shouldn't be tearing statues down.
Mm-hmm.
Because the statues are there to teach us about the rights and wrongs of history. There's a reason why. Oh gosh, this is really unprofessional.
First stream it all goes. First stream it all goes.
Oh, who cares, man? I'm like 3 Budweisers deep. You know, the brain's not exactly working as quickly as
drink myself.
You know, it's exactly why Auschwitz still stands.
Exactly.
Auschwitz is there. I mean, I know it's drawing a long bow between colonial Confederate statues to, say, Auschwitz, but it's same but different. Auschwitz still stands as a reminder of what should never ever happen again.
Yes, the atrocities that took place under Nazi rule during World War II are some of the worst that ever happened in the world. But we need to have that as a, like you said, as a reminder, as a symbol for how humans can get to their lowest point, but then how we can remember that happened so it never happens again. And I mean, and this, I'm going to tie this into that whole moral equivalence argument that we're hearing from the mainstream media right now when it comes to these anti-fascists saying there's no moral equivalence to the actions of white supremacists and Nazis. Like, the Nazis killed 6 million Jews, and they gassed them all to death, or they shot them and all that. I'm just like, well, there is moral equivalence, because these anti-fascists, who are pretty much fascists themselves in the way they execute their riots and how they silence people's free speech. But
it's the irony. It's the irony of the left, man.
I
it's
mean,
the irony of the left. It's Freudian level projection. They'll call everyone else a fascist, but then be fascistic themselves.
Oh yeah, and that starts when they're taught in school about how there's like whole courses on Nazism and what happened in World War II and the atrocities and people getting gassed. And I'm thinking that right there is how the Nazis went about exterminating people, is why it's so prevalent and why it's still held in everybody at the forefront of a lot of people's minds. Because communism killed way more people than fascism did, but to my knowledge, the communists never gassed a whole bunch of people and killed them in a very nasty way. They pretty much the communists killed them through failures of the state, like Mao's 30-40 million people famine, because he like killed a bunch of farmers who were actually producing a lot of food, and then because of the giant famine that came through from the policies of their governments, killed like 40 million people. I mean, so it's almost like they gloss over it, because communism is pretty much cold to everybody. I mean, but
it's the difference. It's the difference between a car crash and an airplane crash.
Yeah,
motor cars in every country all over the world per year will kill more people than airline crashes will. But it's the
huge loss of life, or the devastating images that come out of it. And
it's all at once, and it's something dropping from 35,000 feet in the air.
I mean, because you think about it, you're flying at 600 miles an hour, and you fly into the side of a mountain and completely get pasted all along the mountain, is more horrifying to one's mind than driving down the road and getting T-boned by a tractor trailer and dying that way, because that's more common. I mean, that's more common. So pretty much we're going to
and that's why these
we've slightly desensitized.
And that's why these communists or communism, bloody Che Guevara T-shirts and all that sort of stuff. Jeremy Corbyn marching in the streets of London with bloody communists. That's why that's socially acceptable. But
Islamists.
But Nazism isn't. But it's all cut from the same cloth. It's all lefty. It's all leftist stuff.
Well, why Nazi is short for National Socialist. So that's.
But they call people like us Nazis.
Well, it's because it goes to I'm actually starting to read Dinesh D'Souza's book, The Big Lie, The Nazi Roots of the American Left. It's been a very cunning usage of academia, which has flipped the narrative to where it's Nazism and fascism isn't a left-wing ideology, it's a right-wing ideology, which is completely false. Because if you look at the book, if you look at the starts of fascism when it comes to Benito Mussolini, he was the leader of the Italian Socialista Party before he ever found the fascist party. I mean, and if you look at the early fascist manifestos, a lot of them were pulled straight from Marxism. That's a key part of history that people are not taught, and that should be understood, to where the idea or the notion of calling Republicans or conservatives or even libertarians or centrists Nazis should be completely thrown aside and disregarded as just crazy talk.
Yeah, well, you probably get this as much as I do. You get these lefty trolls on your Twitter timeline, or you tweet something, and these just crazy unemployed.
Yeah, here comes another Nazi fascist who's like doesn't think about the people. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, I had this guy who, and I don't know if you saw. Actually, I think you liked it. I had a stream of about 3 tweets a few weeks ago, and there was this lunatic who was just he kept trolling me, kept attacking me, and I ended up saying, you have this sick fascination and sick fixation in your head that I'm somehow a KKK or Nazi sympathizer. Um, and he was, and I'd never said anything of the sort. You know me, and he was sort of saying, well, why don't you hold the KKK and neo Nazis to the same standard that you hold Antifa and BLM? I said, well, I
That's what we
do.
do.
I,
Yeah,
I
we
do.
do.
100%. I don't care about partisanship when it comes to political violence and racism and discrimination. I don't care if they're from the left or the right. I'm going to call it out equally. Politics is not a team sport, gang. But I've lost my train of thought again. But that's right. What I said to him, I said, well, maybe you should do your research and look back at history, and maybe you should have a look at your beloved Democrats
Oh
in
yeah.
regard to slavery, in regard to
Well, the KKK were
KKK.
founded by the Democratic Party. They were
There were no Republicans in the KKK.
no, not a single Republican owned a slave. Not a single Republican was in the KKK. The KKK was founded as the pretty much the militant arm of the Democratic Party, just like the Waffen SS was the militant arm of the Nazi Party. It's the same thing. I mean, and I was watching a Stefan Molyneux video where he was interviewing Dinesh D'Souza about the Big Lie, and that the Nazis got pretty much all of their rhetoric from the Democratic Party of the early 1900s and early 1920s, and the manifestos of the KKK, and they just replaced the word black with Jew, and that's how they got a lot of their rhetoric to hate on the Jews and to cause this fervent racism and this fervent vitriolic condemnation of the Jewish community to end up leading to the Holocaust.
Yeah, it's just as you said earlier. I mean, it's this revisionist history.
Yeah, it's people are
Um,
not told the actual truth. They're told up to a certain point, and then they leave out specific facts, and then that allows people to just assume that we'll just make that logical jump to the right, or the Nazis being on the right. Because when I was taught at a young age, like I was like 10 years old, and I was like in school, and we're being taught about Canadian history and Canada's role in World War II fighting the Nazis, and they actually had like one of the first pages Nazis, and they had it in parentheses and said National Socialist. And a couple years later, I learned that socialism is akin to communism. So I was scratching my head like, but the textbooks, they all say that the Nazism and fascism is like a right-wing ideology. So it always left me confused until I was in my older years to figure out that it was all just a deception, and that is a key part of history that is overlooked because of the like we were talking about, the massive plane crash that was World War II and the Holocaust.
hmm, hmm. No, it's just utterly insane. There's so over here in Australia, we've got something called the Safe Schools program. I don't know if you've heard about this.
Yeah, I've
You
heard of some of that.
probably would
Yeah,
have through maybe Mark Latham or
yeah,
Independent
and
Man or
yep, yeah,
Bearing.
the Independent Man Bearing, yeah,
Yeah.
where they try to coddle to everybody's little like gripe about they're being oppressed or they're being marginalized or something like that. So we got to make it completely safe for all the little snowflakes, and it's
No,
gotten out
no,
of hand.
no. So it's marketed as on the surface an anti-bullying program, but what it actually is, it's radical gender theory. And
Mm-hmm.
so there's there's safe schools, posters and stuff like this of boys wearing girls' dresses, bloody 15, 16-year-old kids. And anyway, all this sort of stuff. Anyway, I posted something about that because we've got this raging same-sex marriage debate happening in the country at the moment. So it's going to it's going to a postal vote. It's an opt-in, opt-out vote. It's not binding. It will go like the politicians will have to vote yes or no on it, but it will be to gauge the sentiment of
So pretty
Australians.
much, it doesn't matter how you vote yes or no. The politicians are just going to take it under advisement and just.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, we know what happens when
But
politicians take things under advisement.
yeah, well, I mean, it's quite a long story to go into, so I'm not going to bother. But so long story short, I posted. We've got this vicious campaign happening at the moment, and there. Anyway, I posted a tweet the other day, and I said the Safe Schools program was Marxist. The architect of the Safe Schools program is a hardline Marxist by the name of Ros Ward. And it's this just crazy Marxist gender ideology, gender bending, gender theory, 72.
You got to think this way, otherwise you're going to be like, like damaging the fragile minds of these kids who think they're transgender or something, and we can't.
Yeah, just all this.
That.
So it's very sort of similar. Australia is very similar culturally in terms of this sort of gender ideology and political correctness and stuff like that as Canada. I draw very close parallels between the two countries.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
But anyway, I was being attacked, and the reason I brought this up because we're talking about communism, socialism, etc. I started getting attacked by these crazy lefties saying that I didn't understand what Marxism was, and they're like retweeting my tweet, and they're saying you don't understand Marxism. I'm like, no, hang on, you put Marxist in there because it's a scary word. I'm like, the architect of Safe Schools, this crazy program, is a Marxist. The same person said that the Australian flag was racist and wanted it removed from Parliament House. I'll have to send you a photo of this same lunatic Ros Ward, who, after Donald Trump was elected, we had people out on the streets wearing Trump gear, Trump T-shirts, Trump baseball caps. The great man himself. I should go and put my Trump gear on. And MAGA. And there's Ros Ward grabbing this guy's Trump baseball cap and like beating him up. And it's like, but hang on, aren't you the architect of an anti-bullying program? You fucking
I know. You're just like the Antifa. You are saying you're stopping this fascistic hatred or this hatred of this ideology through using violence to shut it down. That's not productive. That's you're feeding into the actual argument of what you're trying to get rid of. So I mean, you're just as bad as the people you're trying to stop. So you've become the monster.
It's kind of it's projection. It's much like when two people are in a relationship and there's the one person in the relationship who's always really paranoid that the other person is cheating on them.
Mm-hmm.
They're checking the mobile phone, or they're going through the Facebook messages, etc. It's like, no, you're that paranoid because you're that person yourself. You are the cheater.
Yes. Oh my Lord, I hate hearing, like, on mainstream media, they're always spewing this like vitriol hatred or this racism crap onto people when they are using a template which is segregating everybody by race. So I mean, if you're talking about racism, look at a mirror, because that's what you're spewing. I mean, and that's why you think racism is all over the place, because that's all you see. That's all you see. I mean, and that is
you see the world. Yeah, you see the world through this prism of race.
I mean, and what they cheat. They have a cheap cop out where they says, like, if you try to come at them with an argument where, like, why do we actually have to see color, or can't we all just be colorblind? And they're just like, ignoring people's culture or race is again racist. So someone's just like, for them, it's a complete, I'm not going to have an actual argument, or I'm not going to follow through with like figuring out my cohesive ideology. I'm just going to completely blame everything on you. It's kind of like what feminism does. It doesn't. It's if a man or if a woman doesn't find a job, it's the man's fault. If she does find a job, it's still the man's fault. It's that's why you have all these ideologies, these left-wing ideologies like feminism and multiculturalism. They're all interchangeable. Just like how I was saying that the Nazis just changed black to Jew. It's all, you could just change their arguments and you could replace like people of color with female, and then you have a feminist argument. It's all cut and paste, and shows that they never really actually thought any of their things through. They just stole it from what was the trending topic of the day to make up their own victimhood social justice arguments. And it just shows that whenever they come up to people who can actually debate their ideas, they shut them down because they can't have a debate, so they use violence to shut it down.
And there's no end goal. Well, there's no end to this identity politics.
There's always something they have to fight. There's always something they have to fight against to keep themselves relevant, to keep themselves having power. And it's a giant power trip. It's just a giant megalomaniacal. Yeah, I guess that's a word. Power.
Megalomaniacal.
Yeah, megalomaniacal. Thank you. Thought process that it's always never good enough. I mean, when is it going to stop? When we're all dead? When we all look brown? When there is no more wrong think? When things are like backwards? I mean, when does it stop? I mean,
but these are the same people who talk about privilege, and they talk about the fact that they don't have any privilege. It's only the straight, white, cis, het, normative man who's got privilege. But it's like, hang on, if you're bitching and moaning about these insignificant little things, you're bitching and moaning about and about the minutiae, effectively, you are the most privileged person. I mean, no one in Africa cares about 70 different gender pronouns. They've got better things to do with their time, like, try to survive for the next day.
Right.
These are the follies of a very, very privileged society and a very, very privileged group of people. I'm not specifically saying, one race or gender or anything, but just sort of these leftist activists in general, to sort of create problems where problems shouldn't exist or problems don't exist. Because as you said, they need to remain relevant. They always need to have something to fight for. It's progressives. They just want change for the sake of change.
Yeah, because it's never good enough, and it's almost as if they have to invent all of these problems. Like I've seen that I think it was the Atlantic or someone came out today or the other day saying that we need to look at the lyrics of the national anthem of America because they have neo-Confederate meanings behind it. And I'm just like, this it just never ends. It gets to the point where it's just so outlandish and so crazy that you can't take these people seriously. But these people have the positions of authority through the fact that they have the ear of the politicians. They can, and politicians love to have somebody who's marginalized, because then they can push that narrative, and they can get people to lobby for them and keep them in office, and it's just one hand washing the other when it comes to these people.
Yeah, well, speaking of the Atlantic, they're just absolute nut jobs. I don't know if you saw it. I definitely tweeted it, that the solar eclipse was racist.
Yeah,
because it crossed through the Rust Belt. It crossed through the middle of America. It didn't go to areas that were diverse enough.
I know they said not enough black people saw the eclipse, so the solar system is inherently racist for some reason.
Yeah, it's just I couldn't make that shit up.
I'm just trying to figure out how to get it to where whenever you talk, it pushes you up to the stream, so we can actually see you. Because I was just checking the stream here, and it just shows me talking. It doesn't show you whenever it pops up. I'm trying to figure that one out. Might have to ask Dorky one of these days. But all right, well, hopefully that'll get you pushed up here.
What are you even doing?
Oh, there. Yeah, well, you know how in streams where when one person's talking, they're popped up on the stream, and then when the other person starts,
flashes up. Yeah.
Yeah. I was trying to figure that out, but I'll have to
I've never been able to work that out, man.
Yeah. I'll ask Dorky one of these days and how that's done. But for now,
why can't we get Dorky in here? Where is he? Is he asleep?
I don't know. Let me tweet it. Let me tweet at him quick. See what's going on.
I'll tweet at him as well.
Yeah.
I just heard your phone go off.
Yeah, it's on vibrate. Hey, I'm gonna DM him and say you want to join the stream. We got 4 people watching, so that's pretty good.
Oh, fantastic!
All right.
They will
be the death of us all. Yeah, these this guy Foxtrot Zulu. Yeah, these people will definitely be the death of us. These politicians who cater to all these crazy leftists and socialists, and they completely just want to have these battles continue so they can keep themselves in power, so they can keep getting lobbied for money, and they can keep saying to people, don't worry, I'm fighting for you. That's who I'm fighting for. I'm fighting for you.
I thought you might have been suggesting that this Foxtrot character was implying that you and I may be the death of us all.
Oh, well.
Well, I mean, it wouldn't be surprising.
Yeah, 2 white guys talking to each other. Yeah, that's.
Yes.
I mean, that will kill everybody, won't it? We'll start the next Holocaust here.
Middle class, cis normative white guys.
Yeah. All right. You know what? I think I actually got it going. I think I got it going to where when I talk, it'll pop you up, and when you talk, it'll pop you up.
Yeah. Well, you only see that on your end, man.
But like it's only on my end, but then on my stream on YouTube, it only showed me for a while. But now I got it working to where you can talk, it'll pop you up. So that's good. So now people can put a face to the voice. So that's good.
Oh, hang on. I wasn't visible before?
Well, yeah, it was pretty much whenever we were talking, it was just me talking, and and you weren't popping up. But now that I figured it out, that whenever you talk, you'll be on the main stream of the channel, and then you'll pop up, so when you're talking, people can see it.
Oh, fantastic!
Yeah. But yeah, if you go to YouTube and just go to my channel, then you can.
No, I'm having a look right now. Because I don't have any of the controls on my end.
Yeah, I'm still doing this pretty rudimentary, so I'm trying to still get it down. But I've pretty much got my YouTube channel in a small window on the side, so I can see the chat, so I can interact with people.
Yeah, you're my Canadian American puppet master, brother.
Yeah, Foxtrot here said the moon went full blackface.
Hang on, I can go full blackface if you want, Foxtrot. I don't care.
Here, I can turn off my my light in here and just completely be pitch dark. All you can see
I
is
can
my
turn
smile, right?
I can turn this into a minstrel show if you want. Uh, just to really drive home the point that we are, you know, the worst people in the world.
Oh yeah,
I figure
why?
I'm kind of safe. I'm far enough away from you guys.
I know me, like I live outside like a semi-major metropolitan area, so I don't want a bunch of minorities come knock on my door saying you're saying something wrong, bro. But of course, we're just joking. Because I mean, that actually ties in. That actually ties into something that's actually quite relevant, to where what state are we in that somebody's free speech can get somebody beat up? I mean, it's crazy. I mean, everybody should be allowed to speak their mind without worrying that somebody else is going to take such offense to it that they will actually go to lengths to physically assault you or dox you or destroy your reputation just based on what you think.
Well, I'll give you a recent example from my side of the pond. You'd be aware of radical feminist lunatic Clementine Ford.
The name is familiar. The name is definitely
Yeah, well,
familiar.
yeah,
If you pop up or if you tell me
I'll
exactly
just
what
link
she's
you
crazy for, then I'll probably remember.
pretty much anything that's ever come out of her goddamn mouth. I mean, this woman she is stage 4 brain cancer. If you go onto her Twitter, it's just I'm going to tag you in something.
I'm so white they had to invent a second off-white. Oh, invent a second off-white. Oh, okay.
I know who Foxtrot is. How you doing, Foxtrot?
Oh, really? Okay,
Simo?
the follower of yours.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. All right, cool. Hey, everybody. Nice to meet you all, his followers. Hey, if you guys
That
want
was
to follow me on Twitter too, yeah, definitely check it out. Also, subscribe to my YouTube channel. So,
it's my man, Harry the Swamp Cleaner. Subscribe to him, Simon.
because I was planning on doing a video on exactly this racial divide stuff, but I figured a stream would be good enough, and this will just upload onto my channel as it is anyway. So if people want to go look at it at their leisure, that's fine by me. If you want to mirror this and put this on your channel or whatever, that's fine by me too. It doesn't really matter. I'm not monetizing this stuff. I'm not planning on ever monetizing anything on YouTube because they wouldn't even let that happen. But I'm just I take a key from Stefan Molyneux that I just sit down in front of my camera and just upload my thoughts to the people, upload different aspects or points of view that people might not think about before. So, hey, thanks. Yeah, he's going to subscribe. So thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I just asked Simon if he wanted to join the stream.
Hey, you know what? The more the merrier. I'd love to. I've always wanted to have one of those streams where I got like 3 or 4 or 5 people in here. We can all bounce ideas off each other and discuss. That's why I'm just like, where the hell is Dorky? Where is Rubber Dorky? I want him in here. Well, he's probably asleep by now because he's on the West Coast. It's about 1:46 in the morning for him, but it's 4:46 in the morning for me, so I don't know why he's not up.
Yeah, and you're still drinking alcohol, brother. Like,
I know. I need to actually get a quick other drink. If you allow me a minute, I'm gonna be right back. So
no, I'm going to ask the same of you because I want to have a cigarette.
all right, everybody on the stream, there's gonna be a couple-minute break. We will be right back. Don't go anywhere, okay?
They're going to leave. They're going to leave.
I know they're gonna be like, no, no. Okay, but no. Everybody here, we'll be back. I'll be back in just like a minute.
I'll be
Don't worry, I'll
back.
be back in a couple.
All right.
All right. Alrighty. All right. Hopefully nobody left. All right. Well, I'm back. I'm recharged and good to go. And you know what? I'm actually going to point out something which is the first reason why I started this stream when it comes to the whole Hurricane Harvey has destroyed that racial divide. I'm actually going to go to something that I retweeted as being complete idiocy. And you guys have probably seen it. It's from those people at Charlie Hebdo, those idiots in the French magazine. And I don't know what this says in French, but you get the idea pretty much. I don't know if you guys can see that. Yeah. Charlie Hebdo, pretty much all the people who were in Texas who were drowning themselves are a bunch of Nazis and a bunch of white supremacists. So this is the complete idiocy. That's the whole racial division, the whole racial divide that they have been trying to spew for the past couple of weeks now. Ever since Charlottesville, they have been proclaiming that all these white supremacists are around and that they're all trying to take over the country, and nothing of the sort is true. Yet they can still push their talking points and try to make fiction into reality. So it's an extension of what the mainstream media was talking about, where everybody is now a white supremacist, everybody is a neo-Nazi and a fascist. So they threw Trump into that whole. They threw Trump into that whole category because Trump didn't disavow the neo-Nazis, the white supremacists fast enough. So he must be one of them too, or he condones what they've done. So, and then they stretch even further and say, so that means Trump is a neo-Nazi or Trump is a fascist and a racist. So whoever voted for him must be the same thing, must be a fascist and a racist. So you get stupidness like this here from Charlie Hebdo. You get stupid shit like this, saying that the people in Texas are just a bunch of racists, so they're getting what they deserve. And it's shameful. It's completely over the top. It's completely uncalled for. And this will just come back to bite the mainstream media in the ass. It's going to come back and bite the Democrats in the ass, because the Democrats follow the same narrative, the same talking points as what the mainstream media goes. The mainstream media says jump, and the Democrats say how high. So you have now the mainstream media denouncing Antifa, and then you have in turn the Democrats denouncing Antifa and left-wing violence, and it's completely blowing up in their face, especially when you see all the people of any race, color, and creed coming together in the aftermath of Harvey and helping each other to survive. So, I mean, this is a false narrative which has been beaten to death, and it's been overplayed. It's been overplayed, and they've caused it to come back on themselves full force, and it's just going to turn out to where the Republicans and Libertarians get even a bigger win in 2018 when the elections come around. See, you're back. What do you think about what I was talking about?
Well, I sort of came in halfway through. Were you answering a question?
No, I was just starting. I was getting back to the original talking points of what the stream was about. This whole racial division narrative is being destroyed by the events that are happening right now. And you saw me when I flashed my phone with that Charlie Hebdo article. Yeah, it's complete lunacy.
Yeah. I think my face has disappeared from the screen again, but
oh, you're there. You're there.
Okay, cool. I think it's utterly bizarre that there's this narrative being pushed, especially post Charlottesville, that there was this huge seedy underbelly of neo-Nazis and KKK. Where were they for for the 8 years that Obama was president.
Yeah,
I mean,
they were
if
all
there was,
hiding under their cloaks, underneath
yeah,
rocks.
it just doesn't make any sense. You know, if these people were committed hardcore Nazis and racists and whatever else, wouldn't have they been out in the streets rioting every single day?
That Obama's a monkey, and that he's not smart enough to be the president of the United States, or that.
And better yet, where were the riots when Obama was elected? There were none.
Yeah,
there were none.
That leads me. That goes right to a Paul Joseph Watson tweet. He's like, "Remember when the people on the right rioted in the streets when Obama got elected twice? Oh yeah, me neither, because it didn't happen."
Yeah. So, if there was this huge underbelly of white supremacists, and look at the states that voted for Trump, and then look at the states that voted for Obama.
A lot of people
wanted a change.
Yeah,
people wanted a change.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
It's just bizarre. We would not see this racial narrative being rolled out right now if Hillary Clinton had been elected. Why? Because Hillary Clinton, as a woman, sits on this sort of leftist totem pole of oppression. This.
Oh yeah, if she's a woman, she needs to break that glass ceiling.
Exactly. So the racial narrative wouldn't be rolled out right now. It's asinine, and it's dangerous. The narrative is asinine, but also the narrative is dangerous.
Well, it's made and conditioned for the lowest common denominator. It's made for the people who don't think critically, who just suck up all this information, or all this misinformation, I should say, to be truth, and they don't do their own due diligence. They're counting on these people to be dumbed down. They're counting on these people to not go back a couple months and see them completely revert back on talking points that they made a few months ago or a year ago or whatever. They're lied to constantly by this narrative and by these people who run this narrative, and it's all done because these people are the lowest common denominator. They're trusting on these people to be stupid enough to fall for it.
Well, I wouldn't say they're stupid enough. I would just say that good propaganda works.
Well, it's like exactly it's like it's Saul Alinsky tactics. It's
it's a very well orchestrated propaganda, it's like the Russian thing. The Russian thing has been debunked time and time again. But we've stopped talking about it. But when you've got someone telling you the same thing over and over and over and over again, a la CNN with the Russian collusion and the Russian hacking, eventually that's going to take root in your mind, and you're going to believe it because it's been drummed into you over and over and over again.
You say a lie enough, it becomes the truth.
Exactly. It's the same with this racial stuff. It's the same with calling Donald Trump a racist and a misogynist and a transphobe and a homophobe. And he's the only Hillary Clinton was against gay marriage. How quickly
Barack Obama was against gay marriage until it fit their narrative and until it fit his talking points to get himself reelected. It wasn't for gay marriage until his second term. A lot of people think
exactly
he was the first pro-gay president off the block. When no, that's Trump.
But exactly, and how quickly these people forget when you've got media, drumming these things into their head. That Trump hates gay people. Well, no, he doesn't.
No,
Trump hates minority. No, he doesn't.
It doesn't matter who you are. He looks at you based off of your merits and how good you are and how well you hold yourself in society. I mean, or what I
Yeah,
should say is,
but according to the left, meritocracy is evil in this current world
that's
of
the one thing I don't understand. That I don't understand how that is,
you know.
because these people hold Martin Luther King Jr. in their bosom like he is one of their champions, and he said that it's not the color of your skin, it's the content of your character.
Well, here's another thing. Martin Luther King was against gay marriage. Should his statue be torn down as well?
I know. I mean, I
You
know.
know,
They like Trump says, where does it stop? What's next? Are we going to pull down statues of Washington and Jefferson because they owned slaves?
yeah,
That's where there's a fallacy in this argument, to where it's either all or nothing, and these people don't understand that. They think they can selectively choose, but if these things become law, then it can be thrown and thrust right back at these people. That's what goes back to what I was saying, is these people have never thought through their ideology, never thought through their talking points of their narrative. They just cut and paste and take from other things and whatever is trendier at the moment. They may never actually do deep logical thinking on how to create a cohesive argument to get what they actually want. So they just keep taking and taking and taking, and that goes in the argument of it's never good enough. There's always going to be something else to fight about.
yeah. I'm just sorry to not respond to anything you just said, which was excellent. But I've just actually gone onto the Twitter page, and I can see all the live chat.
Oh, on the YouTube, on the live chat,
on not Twitter, YouTube, yeah.
Yeah, I'm seeing that. Yeah, Fox said that he's gonna link or find the article from Hebdo about I think that cover page that I was showing you.
Yeah, Foxtrot Zulu 750, aka Simrob72, over on Twitter, has DM'd me and said that if we keep going for a little while longer, he'll jump into the stream with us.
Oh, it sounds good. Yeah, by all means. Send me Foxtrot. Send me a follow, or you probably already have.
He's just asked me for your Twitter handle, so I'll send it to him.
Oh,
but
yeah,
by the way, Spork S is Kira.
I do believe I was just in my followers, and I think I just saw that person up here. Oh no, Kira Savage.
Yeah, so Spork S is Kira Savage.
Okay,
yeah.
All right, yeah. That's cool. All right, nice. Know people's platform names across different platforms. That's pretty good.
The other Aussie in our group.
Yeah. Now we just need to get Bearing in here, and then we're all set. Oh man, I mean, I could I mean, it would be a long shot. I could DM him because we're friends. I mean, but he's probably like not gonna. But I'll just send him a DM. See what happens. Why not? Why not?
Why not?
Hey,
what's the worst that can happen?
Yes, like I'm just Hey, want to join my live stream? There we go. Well, probably not going to get an answer, but there you go. But yeah, but he's a decent guy. I've chatted with him once or twice on Twitter. He's completed. He takes the piss out of. I don't know if you know Tim Blake or At a Motivator Opinion.
Yeah.
You know what? Let me shoot him a DM and get him in here too. We could have, instead of this being a complete echo chamber, we can have actually somebody with an ulterior opinion in here. So maybe he'll bite, but we'll see. Because he's in New Zealand, which is I think a couple hours ahead of you.
Well, it's funny. You and I first started chatting over on Sugar Tits on one of her posts.
Yeah, Sugar Tits. She's awesome. I like Sugar Tits. She's hot too.
if someone just came in at that moment and
I was like, "You're
they've
objectifying women. How dare you?"
and the first thing they hear you say is, "Yeah, I like sugar tits."
Hmm. Couldn't send the tweet. Oi cunt should get his attention. Oh yeah. If you want, my link is this. The swamp cleaner. It's all one word. The swamp cleaner, and that's how you can find me on Twitter. But yeah, I sent a few DMs. Maybe I'll get a response back from old Timmy boy. Cause man, I'd love to take the piss out of him. I'd love to take the piss out of him. Because his arguments are so full of holes. Because he's one of those guys who's like, oh yeah, I believe in free speech, but as long as you're not like attacking other people, I'm just like, it's like, well, what's your definition? All his
anytime
definitions are
someone's
pretty. He uses definitions of things very loosely all the time.
I just love it when anytime someone says, "Oh, I believe in this," but
Yeah, there's always that, but I hate that. It's like, but okay, so you're good, but oh, okay, and here comes your justification for this crap. Okay.
it's just ridiculous. I love getting into these beefs on Twitter with these lefties, and they'll go, and they always bring up, because they always say that, like, because we on the right, we're free speech absolutists, and then they'll try to use this argument against us, and they'll go, oh, well, what about free speech? It's like, dude, fucking
yeah. What about free speech? Like, I mean, they always like.
It doesn't mean I have to fucking agree with everything you say. Like,
I know that's the essence of free speech.
Like, you can say some dumb shit. I'm going to disagree with it. It doesn't mean that
I'm attacking you, or that I want you dead or something. But that's what they
it doesn't. It doesn't mean that I don't agree with free speech. You can't poke holes in my whatever you call it, man. I'm just going in and out of being brain dead right now.
Well, like, what you're saying is that even if we disagree, it's not like I'm trying to make you seem like you're the devil or something.
No, I think what I'm trying to say is that if you say something that I disagree with, it doesn't mean that, or you say something attacking me and I want to distance myself from it, it doesn't mean that my beliefs on free speech are any weaker or looser.
Yeah, they try to catch you in some kind of like in some kind of like loophole where it's like, oh, but you believe in free speech, but how come you're yada yada? And they twist it around on you where it's like, no. I mean, you're defeating the purpose of free speech by what you're doing right now. I mean, you shouldn't be held in contempt for if I disagree or not, or if there's any nuance or colloquialisms that get in the way of what is the actual meaning. I mean, because like it's kind of like saying if you have like a racist joke, but it's not really racist because it's a joke or something like that,
Well, even if it is racist, even if it's outright racism, even if I said I hate Asians, I just hate Asians. I'm sure that's going to get edited, but like, even if I said that, big deal. It's free speech. I mean, you can say to me, hey, I don't want to hear that. I disagree with it. I mean, unless I'm saying, hey guys, I want to go out there and shoot Asians, and hey, we should all get together and shoot Asians. Well, then we're entering murky territory. I mean, it's a call to violence. And so then there's, sort of legal issues that could crop up. But, anything outside of that,
yeah, I mean,
go for it.
There's context and all that deals with it. Like you can clip like what somebody's saying, but if there's like a whole argument or there's like a whole like conversation wrapped around that, it adds the context to where, oh look, it's not, they're not actually being outright racist or something like that. They're trying to make a point about like maybe how they're not how they're not racist or something like that. But I mean, Simon here just sent me the link to that Charlie Hebdo article, to where this person reads, Iona Italia. She says, so many people seem not to understand satire that I wrote an article explaining it step by step and giving examples. So I'm going to have to read that in a little bit, and maybe I was taking.
Can you send me?
What's that? Oh, tweet it to you?
Can you send me the link? Yeah,
no problem. Copy. Dang. There it is. But maybe I was taking that headline out of context, and who knows? I probably was. But and it's almost like you're going back on yourself when you're saying free speech is free speech. But when you got something that is sensitive, like let's say personally sensitive to you, you always have that own personal bias to the point where it's like, oh no, come on now, like. Let's say somebody's like, let's say my mom got beat up or something. I'll be sensitive if somebody's like making quips or something about how my mom like was like ugly or something, and she got jacked up because it'll just make her look more pretty or something. Somebody's just dicking around. That'll be in like, I'll figure that out, or I'll consider that to be insensitive, and I won't like that. And then let's say it's happened to some other, like another person's mother who's a random stranger to me. You don't have that connection. So I mean, it's almost, there's like there is nuance, and there's leeway when it comes to what would be.
Well, it goes back to that thing that, you know, offense is never given; it's only ever taken.
Yeah.
You know, I can't give offense. I can't pass offense on to you. And I think that's where a lot of people get confused with free speech. You know, we've got to, and that's what I don't understand about the left as well. They say, oh, we can't say this. You can't say this. You can't say that. It's like, but where does it stop? Because as you just rightly pointed out, there, you know, for example, your mum may have been beaten up. So what? We're going to censor certain words because it might offend Harry, or we're going to censor certain words because it might offend Chris. Oh, for fuck's sake!
I know, like to people, it's a lot where. Yeah, if it's happening to you, oh my God, this is terrible. I don't like this happening. But it's pretty much, you gotta just suck it up. I mean, that's just, you gotta.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, if you don't like what you're hearing, and if you don't like what someone's saying, tune out.
Yeah, I mean, don't let it. I mean, just here's the thing, because you know, when I was a younger kid, I was bullied in school, from like kindergarten up until grade 9. And
yeah, man. So was I, brother.
I mean, when I was younger, you take it personally, and like it was almost reinforced by the teachers that, oh, I should be taking this like at face value, and it should affect me because like my self-esteem is getting affected, and like this is going to be a problem and stuff. And I was just like, I never truly bought that, so I just went my own way and just dealt with it and just let it roll off your shoulder. It's just words. I mean, if you allow people with
calm down, JC.
if you allow people with just using their words to get at you, you're not gonna be able to get anywhere in life, because every single word or every single thing that's said to you and you take it the wrong way is gonna completely derail like what you're doing, and you're not gonna get anywhere.
Well, I mean, that's the problem with this sort of trigger warning, safe space culture that we've got on the left at the moment in college and university campuses. Did you just change the settings, man? Because I can see my face right now.
Oh, sorry. I was trying to screw around with this because it stopped doing the whole thing where I was like, whenever you talk, you pop up. Whenever I talk, I pop up. It stopped doing that for some reason.
Oh, that's cool, man. Like I don't mind being front and center, man. I look good.
I know. Yeah, you got that whole slicked back hair, and you got that.
Oh yeah, just
that nice beard going on there. Yeah.
You know, stop flirting with me, Harry.
Honestly, don't take it the wrong way now.
But you know that's the problem. You've got like what is it, like university and college courses, or with, like, you know, people who are studying to be lawyers, and if they're triggered by something, they can not study, you know, certain things. How are you going to fare in the real world as a bloody lawyer? You've muted your microphone.
Still screwing around with the settings.
Yeah, I can tell.
But I'm listening. I'm listening to you. I mean, it's completely accurate what you're saying.
You know, it's just absolutely crazy. I mean, these people are not prepared for the real world, and they're gonna get a massive shock when they get into the real world.
They're taught to take everything like they are supposed to break it down, like everything that's said, and they're supposed to break it down and understand the meaning behind it. And if they were trying to make you feel like put off or offended or something, and I'm just like, don't hang on other people's words, just move forward. And because you're going to get people who are just going to like want to do this to fuck around with you, and then you're going to get other people who just like are going to try to be are trying to be nice to you, and or just can't relate that they're trying to be nice, or they're actually genuinely being nice. And if you hang on everybody's word, you won't be able to figure out who is trying to be meaningful towards you or not. I mean, they come at it at like you're supposed to deal with it like you're a 4-year-old child, and it's too.
Yeah, well, it's rather scary, because these people are going to be future leaders. These people are going to be bosses.
Oh my God!
These people are going to be heading up corporations. You know, possibly places we may work one day, and it's just madness. I mean, I was speaking to someone the other day, and they literally came out with this whole SJW bullcrap about, oh, well, you know, when I ask someone where they're from, I mean just purely the suburb or the area they're from. I just assume everyone's from Australia unless they say no, or unless they tell me otherwise, because I don't want to offend anyone. It's like, for fuck's sake, man. If I meet someone who's got a fucking accent, I'm gonna say, so where are you from? Like, it's not racist, man. Like, it's not racist. It's like you, man. It's like you. If I was in America, man, and we were neighbors, and you move in next door, and you got a Canadian accent, I'm gonna say, oh, so when did you move here from Canada?
I know. I mean,
it's just fucking common sense. It'd be like, or role reversal. You move in next to me, and I've got an Australian accent. We're both living next door to each other in North America, and you say, oh, so when did you move here from Australia? What? I'm going to be triggered by that?
I know. It's I take it,
fucking brain.
I take it like you said, offenses is taken, not given. I mean, it's when I did move down here, my accent was more pronounced. I mean, it's faded a little bit now that I'm here in America, but I still say like house, out, like you can hear that coming out there. And when I used to come, people would be like, oh, so like some people you can tell who are the assholes, or like, oh, where are you from, eh? Like yada yada. I'm just like, oh yeah, from Canada, but you know that's stereotype.
Yeah, but that's also just joshing. That's also just jiving around.
Like, it's just some people were just like trying to just some people were just trying to make a little light joke or there, and then you can tell it's all about understanding like human like nature and understanding the psychology between humans.
Like if someone came up to you after they'd heard your accent and they'd said, you know, fuck you, you Canadian, I fucking hate Canadians, blah blah.
I'd be
Well,
like,
that's a very big difference between someone joshing around and
oh
just
yeah,
having a little, you know, just going, hey, oot, you know, just having a little bit of a, you know, a play
oh yeah,
around, you know.
yeah, I was just taking it in like how like in high school because everybody's just an asshole to everybody in high school. but but yeah, I understand what you're saying there, where it's like you can tell the true people with their hatred to where somebody who's just screwing around to people who are just genuinely curious. I
And
mean,
this whole thing, and you mentioned earlier, you know, about the whole colorblind thing, right? And
mhm.
that's off. Like, you can't say nowadays, you can't say, hey, I'm colorblind, because that's apparently racist. When, you know, for all intents and purposes, that should be a positive thing. You mean, you see everyone as equals. You don't see them as skin colors or nationalities. Um, but, and yeah, no, I've just lost my train of thought again.
No, yeah, you see them, you
That's
don't, you look past it because they're just people. You look, I mean, and that's how it should be.
I was segueing into something else, and yeah, now I can't remember it. That's what the fourth Budweiser will do to you, kids. Don't drink, kids. It's really bad.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Well, maybe don't
What's your
drink
fault?
maybe don't drink American beer, children.
I know some American beers are kind of shitty. I mean, but I actually never had a taste for Canadian beers. I don't really like Canadian beers. I don't know why.
You know what I love? What's a real, like, I'm not one for like super smooth beers. Like, if I have a beer, I want it to taste like a beer, not this like wanky craft beer bullshit. You know, it's got notes of pears and flowers and daisies and whatever else. None of that. Not interested in it. But you know what's a really nice beer is Michelob.
Michelob? Okay, I never had that.
Yeah, it's good, man. It's good. You can go and get it at your local convenience store. It's really nice.
I like Yingling actually. Yingling is a good base beer to have. You ever heard of that?
No.
It's actually actually the oldest brewery in America. Started in 1829, and they're based out of Pottstown, Pennsylvania. And they've
Well,
got
you
a damn.
send me a six pack, brother.
Okay, yeah, the shipping might be more than the actual 6-pack.
Well, that's your issue, not mine.
I know, right? But the good thing is about America is that we get beers from all over the world. Like I haven't had a Foster's yet, but I've told they were shit.
They are shit, and we don't drink them. They're sold to the world as the beer that Australians drink. You're hard pressed up until probably the last couple of years to find a bottle shop over here that sells Foster's. It's shit.
So
It's
it's
not even.
mainly outported or exported to other countries.
It's not even brewed here.
What? I thought it was like the Australian beer.
Yeah, well, everyone thinks that. Like, but it's
Owned by like
yeah.
Budweiser or something.
I actually I think it. I'm purely speculating here. I think it may actually be owned by Anheuser-Busch.
Oh yeah, and Anheuser Busch is owned by the Chinese now.
Hmm.
I mean, who knows
And
where that's getting?
half the property in Australia is owned by the Chinese.
Freaking you turn around anything that's like a physical material piece of something and it says made in China on the back of it here. So
Oh, for sure, except for MAGA hats.
yeah, well, Trump wants to bring back a lot of things that we can be proud to make in America again, and that they're also saying like I love it how Trump. I mean,
I
not
tell you,
Trump, but
just
Obama
quickly
came out.
before we go onto a different subject,
All right.
when I come and visit you next year, brother, I'll bring you some good Australian beer
Oh,
that we
okay.
actually drink.
So,
Not
examples?
the beer you think we drink. I'll bring you beer we actually drink.
Okay. Examples? What do you
Uh,
got?
you know what's a really good brewery over here is Cooper's Brewery from South Australia.
Coopers. Okay.
Cooper's. And interestingly enough, they were embroiled in a bit of a scandal earlier this year. The leftists kind of went a little bit mental. So type in Cooper's Brewery same-sex marriage.
Oh wait, no, yeah. And then the CEO was like, "We're sorry, we didn't mean to be
Yeah,
insensitive." And like, I was like, "Wow, you just lost a bunch of your freaking user base or your drinking base because you're just pissing about."
yeah. Well, basically, they basically caved into the threats of a boycott. So all the trendy hipsters in the city and in the inner city areas and the pubs and the bars, threatened to boycott Coopers completely. And instead of Coopers actually recognizing that, hey, this is going to blow over in a week's time, and because we live in the internet age, no one's going to remember it in a week's time. They sort of caved in. I mean, but they they didn't say anything wrong. There was nothing wrong with what was said.
No, it was an
There was nothing.
opinion.
It was an opinion. They weren't saying, we want to, go out and kill gay people. Um, but I think that's a real big problem with the left. You can't debate them because if you have any opinion which goes against their opinion and their worldview, all of a sudden you're a racist, sexist, bigot,
Well, it
homophobe.
goes back to that schoolyard mentality of, oh no, like he just told me I looked ugly, or like he said my shirt's like bad, or like I got like too many freckles or something, and I'm just like, I'm going to take
Dude,
personal offense in what's being said here because I believe that I have the moral superiority, the high ground, to actually make a claim that this is hate or something like that.
I mean, all three of those points that you just brought up are things that I've wanted to say to you for a long time.
I mean, I know I don't have the best complexion here. I mean, but...
Well, except for the fact your shirt's ugly, man. Like, your shirt's awesome.
Oh yeah, everybody loves this shirt. Whenever I walk around the mall and I wear either this shirt or my Trump is our president shirt, I either get people giving me a smile and some high fives, but you can tell the liberals because they'll take a quick look at the shirt, a double take, and then they'll be like, they'll have this big old like eyeball like look on their face, and then they'll like just turn away quick and just walk faster or something.
I tell you, I did tell you. I told you in group DM. This was back in about January. I
You
I
were
went
wearing
out
your
with a
hat.
friend. No, I was wearing my Trump Pence, my official Trump Pence, Make America Great Again 2016 T-shirt, and I'd had like a friend over to my house, and I was just wearing that T-shirt, and we got a little bit bored, and my friend was like, "Hey, we should go out. We should go out. Let's go out." I said, "Okay, cool. Let me change my T-shirt," and he's like, "No, man, just wear it." Just wear it, man.
Oh,
Wear it with power. And we were a little bit drunk, so I was like, yeah, fuck it. I'll just wear it. And so, and because I was living in the inner city at the time, and man, I've got to send you a photo, man. But like, I had a massive ZZ Top beard, like like below my nipples length. Yeah, man, like right down. So this huge beard, right, and this sort of like Richard Spencer haircut, and
oh, I can see where this is going. I already see where this is going.
but like I've got my like Cuban heel cowboy boots on, got the tight jeans, I got the Trump t-shirt, a massive beard. So I either look like a massive Trump supporter and a hillbilly, or I look like an ironic hipster. And so we've gone to this bar and no one in the bar questioned it because like the bar staff were like, hey, love the way you're wearing that shirt, ironically. And I'm like,
I was like,
and
yeah, sure.
that's pretty much what I was
Gotcha.
like, yeah. Because I'm like, I don't want to get beaten up. And my friend's like, he's not wearing it ironically. He loves Trump.
Your friend is very masochistic. He wants to see. He
He
wants.
wants to see me get beaten up. But later on that evening, but like that evening, I mean, it was probably like 3 o'clock the next morning. We've gone to get like kebabs or like some sort of greasy late night food, and we're just sort of sitting somewhere on the street, just eating our food. Man, we got surrounded. We just got surrounded. And these dudes were just like, "Why the fuck are you wearing that t-shirt? You know,
Does
you're
it
a
matter?
racist."
Does it matter? Like, it's my opinion. Like, jeez.
Yeah. And it's like, and they're like, "You're a racist," and blah, blah, blah. And they were like edging, man. Like, they were right up in my grill. They were really edging to just sort of like beat the living crap out of me and my friend. The ironic thing is, and I'll use the current leftist vernacular. The ironic thing is the friend I was with was a person of color.
See, that's the thing. I mean, and I'm just like, they completely see, they're only colorblind to when a person of color is actually like on the other side of the argument, or they either ignore that person, or they just say, "Oh, well, you're just a sellout. You're not really that person. You're not really a person of true color." And it's like, that is, how racist can you get? How racist can you get with that?
And it's the same. It's the same as when they attack conservative women. You know, we're all for women's voices in politics and high up positions and yada yada yada. It's a litany list. But as soon as a woman has a stance or an opinion that is just slightly slightly right of communism, they're an open target. You know, like Ann Coulter getting called a cunt. You know,
I know.
if that was a woman on the left being called a cunt,
Oh, there'd be
Jesus
like,
Christ,
whoa,
you wouldn't hear the end of it.
this is just that patriarchy and that sexism, and it's like, how dare you? Like, we're always oppressing the women, but no, no, no. If it's a conservative woman, she's just she's what do they call it? She's using that internalized misogyny. She doesn't know what she's
Internalized
talking
misogyny.
about. She doesn't know what she's
Yeah.
talking about. She's being brainwashed by that narrative. I'm like, no, fuck off. You can't have your cake and eat it too, you idiots. I mean,
and we
it's
all
either
and
it's
we all
either
know,
it's either all women are oppressed. It doesn't matter who, like, they are or what their affiliation is, or there isn't any oppression going on. You can't selectively choose who is getting oppressed or not.
yeah, I mean, just their positions and arguments are not exactly watertight.
No, yeah, that goes back to what we were talking about, that they never really thought them through. They just cut and paste them, and they just try to make sure that people are too stupid to realize that they have so many holes that you can freaking fly a B-17 bomber through it.
Well, I mean, look, let's just call it for what it is. The left are fucking stupid.
Well, I mean, Mark Dice, he's got a line of T-shirts right now saying, what is it, like? Liberalism is a mental disorder. I mean,
Yeah.
these people, they literally, there's something going on. There's something wrong. There's something misfiring in that brain of theirs, to where they can be so disingenuous, so cognitively dissident, and just so like you. When it comes to echo chambers, when it comes to, like, I mean, I know people on the right can be in an echo chamber too, but these people, when they're getting facts like laid down, empirical facts laid down at their feet, they're like, nah, I'm just going to be willfully ignorant of this, and I'm just going to go on my merry way and just continue with my narrative because that's what I've been told to do.
All right, man, you're going to have to entertain the audience. Papa Bear needs a cigarette.
All right, no problem, no problem.
And I know you can entertain an audience damn well.
I'll just
I've
do I'll just do like my little Irish jig or something.
Yeah, man. You know that I've subscribed to your webcam shows, bro.
Oh, don't be doing that now. Yeah, no.
Don't be
Don't
telling.
tell him about that time with the banana, okay? I might have said too much already. Just
Man, I was gonna tell them about the time that you used the neck of a wine bottle as the handle.
see now. See now, I taught somebody else that too. We just can't tell. Just can't say who. Oh man, that's
Oh, the last
freaking hilarious. Uh,
as I get booted out of the group chat.
no,
And never spoke.
I'm just trying to figure out how that it was working where you were talking, it would pop up, and when I'm talking, what I've been doing, I've just been manually clicking whenever you're talking. I'm clicking on your face, so you'll pop up when you talk. I don't know why it's not working automatically anymore.
Oh.
Yeah, like
I'm not sure. Maybe I can. Maybe what I can do is I can drop out of the hangout and then just pop back in and see if it resets itself.
yeah, maybe that'll work. Yeah,
All right, cool. Well, let me have a cigarette and then I'll be back and I'll just drop in and out. How's that sound?
that works. Yeah, no problem.
Ace. Cool.
But okay, let's go. But yeah, Foxtrot. How do you forward them? Jesus Christ. But yeah, Foxtrot. If you're gonna be popping in soon, now's the perfect time. So while he's off smoking that ciggy, I guess you guys seen this. You guys seen this before? This MAGA poster. It was a limited edition MAGA poster from InfoWarsStore.com. That's also where I got this T-shirt. InfoWarsStore.com. These people are on the tip of the spear. Alex Jones, people who work there. Roger Stone, he's going to be getting himself a podcast on the Alex Jones channel. Owen Schroyer, he's one of my personal favorites. I actually have a cool story that involves me and Owen Schroyer. I mean, an actual story. It involves alcohol, a lost phone, and being his assistant. But I will leave that for a separate stream. And oh yeah, what I'm drinking, Fuzzy Navel. If anybody likes a Fuzzy Navel, that is a very good drink to have. Foxtrot, I'm gonna send you the link to the live stream. Just got to figure that out. Copy, paste. There's the link to the live stream, Fox. If you want to join, I put it in the chat of the YouTube stream. But hopefully when he comes back, it will work to where when I talk, I'll pop up, and when he talks, he'll pop up. Nope, that's not it. Present to everyone. You're presenting to everyone. No, stop. Show. Yeah. All right. Cool, Fox. Cool. Hmm. Still trying to figure this out.
All right, I'm back.
I'm still trying to figure this out here. I don't think it's. Try to say something.
Hey, hey.
Yeah, it's still not switching back and forth. I don't know what that's going on. I'll just have to figure that out one of these days. But tonight
That's
I'll
all
just
good, man.
deal with it. Yeah, I'll just deal with it tonight.
That's all good, man. I tell you, I've probably got to kick off within the next 5, man. I'm starving. I haven't eaten dinner yet. It's 20 to 8 over here.
Well, okay. Yeah, and it's almost about 6 o'clock in the morning here, so I might be uh pretty much winding this down. I did give the link to Fox, but we might just have to do a rain check on that one, Fox, and we'll have to do that another night. But yeah, but I guess we'll just wind it down right here. Any final thoughts on what we were talking about? Any?
No, not at all. I mean, yeah, it was just good for you to invite me on to a live stream, brother.
I know,
Appreciate it,
yeah,
man.
yeah. It's
It's
my first actual live stream. Still trying to figure all this stuff out, but I wanna make these like a regular on here.
hey, man.
So.
They don't call me a cherry popping daddy for no reason.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, I like that. Yeah, I like that. Oh man, but no. Yeah, it was really good to have you on stream. It was really good to chat because I always like to chat with a bunch of different people because it's. I mean, I know that I can like get some thoughts together and throw that on a video and rant for like 15 minutes and try to be cohesive. But I like it when I have like another person to talk to, bounce ideas off of, and be natural that way. But yeah, one of these nights we'll definitely do a stream again. We'll get Fox in here. Hopefully we can get Rubber Dorky on here. We can have like maybe 4 or 5 people in the chat. We can really start talking about stuff and really brainstorm.
Yeah, for sure, man. And the thing is that you and I are of very similar minds, man. We get along, and that's why it's not so stressful chatting on a live stream with someone like yourself, because it's just like, man, we can talk shit, we can talk politics, we can talk about how much we hate the left, we can talk about whatever.
I mean, yeah, we can even talk about things
Because
that we don't like that come on the right. Like, I'm gonna just
oh, hell
quickly,
yeah, man.
like, I'm gonna quickly say, like, this whole situation, how Trump wants to finish off what we started in Afghanistan. I'm thinking this is the entire wrong move. We need to get the hell out of there. I mean, he's being slightly misguided by the generals that are in his ear telling him that we can get this done. I mean, heck, they got more information than we do. Maybe if they have this actual plan where it's about objective based, not time based, and they get actually stuff done, and it's like a build down where they put troops in to get things finished off, and then we can pull out of there. Then by all means. But if it's going to be if this is going to be wrong thing, because I'm pretty sure he's going to get reelected in 2020. But if we're still there by like 2021, 2022, I'm like, why? No. We gotta get it, because that's going to be by 2021. That's going to be 2 decades in Afghanistan. So I mean, that's like a
Well,
wrong.
as I said to I'm sure you know who Cali Conservative is
Cali conservative. I mean, is that on Twitter?
on Twitter. Yeah.
I think so. I mean, there's like so many like California for Trump or Cali conservative. So I mean, I don't know exactly what you're talking about, but
Okay. Well, look up Cali Conservative anyway.
okay.
And as I said to Cali Conservative, you know, we in the West, we do a really great job of the first and second stage of intervention. Even if we're just going to talk about the Middle East, you know, but we really fail with the third part of it.
Yeah, just how to get out of it.
Exactly, and that's completely where we failed.
What's up?
Oh no, you were like typing, so
yeah, I was just looking up Cali conservative. So there's so many here. There's like 5 here. I don't know which one it is.
Hang on, I'll just link you, man. I'll just link you.
Is it Bev or Silly Girl 1?
Hold up.
Cali conservative 1776.
Hang on, brother.
Hey guys.
Oh, hey, what's up?
Oh, what's going on?
Hey dude, how you going?
Yeah, good man. And we were just about to finish shit up, man. Shit just got popping.
Hey, if you want to stay on a little bit longer, that's fine by me.
Oh, goddamn yeah.
And we got some feedback coming from Simon.
Yeah, we got some feedback. We got feedback coming from Simon. Oh,
you got some headphones there, Simon?
Yeah, I'll get
we got feedback coming from Simon.
Hang on. Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, yeah.
Yeah, but just get some headphones on, man.
Wait a sec.
Okay, I'm going to follow this Cali conservative.
Yeah, no, good, really, really good account to follow, man.
Maybe Simon knows how I can fix my my thing here to where whoever's talking is popping up in the stream.
Well, I know how to do it on my end, but you've given me admin control, haven't you?
I think I have, yeah.
All right, cool.
Maybe it's yeah, no, yeah, it still doesn't work. Dang it.
Yeah, normally it works perfectly on my end. What we'll do is in a couple of days' time we'll do a stream and I'll run it from my channel, and I'll have a look at my settings, and it will work.
All right, cool. So he's got some headphones on. Hey, Simon, what's up? How you doing?
Simon, what's going on, brother?
Might be linking his headphones.
Yeah, it looks like he's got Bluetooth headphones.
God. Can you guys hear me? I have to reboot because the device driver's not here for the headphones. I'll be back in a second.
No. All right, cool. We can see you though.
Yeah,
cool.
We can see you. No problem. Settings, communications, microphone. Man, this is. Really wish I could just figure out because it wasn't working, and then it was working, but I don't know what I pressed, and then it stopped working.
Look, I'm no expert with Google Hangouts. Trust me.
Maybe I can just Google it quick.
How's that, guys? Can you hear me?
Yep, sounds good.
Yeah, loud and clear. Welcome back, brother.
Oh, that's good, because I had like about a 10-second delay on it before. I don't know if it was the feedback or not, but I was just getting so freaked out in my head trying to listen to it.
No, it was the feedback.
Thanks, guys.
Well, welcome on board, and cheers, brother.
Yeah, good to see you. Good to meet you.
Yeah, cool. I think I've still got a pretty big delay, so I'm going to wait.
No, you're all good. Even if there's a delay, we can still hear you. There might be a video delay, but we can still hear you.
Oh, that's not it.
Excellent. Get out of the way. So where did the conversation get to? Because I've been chopping this on and off trying to get it started.
The conversation has just been sort of going around in circles. Well, I wouldn't say circles. I'm sorry. Sorry about that, Harry. No, we've just sort of we were about to wind things up actually until you jumped on board. So that's pretty good. Yeah, we were sort of just talking about the left. We're talking about sort of sort of racial narratives.
Whoa.
You there, Simon?
Hello?
Yeah, I got you, brother.
Yeah, I think he's trying to figure something out there.
Yeah, his headphones aren't working. Yeah. Homeboy's got new headphones coming.
That's good.
Are you still clicking when people are talking, Harry? Because I'm looking at the stream right now and I can see Simon moving.
Oh yeah, I just had it on him, and I was like looking up how to get that switch. I was actually found a question on like the help forum. It says, I regularly use Google Hangouts for Mac between 2 to 10 people.
Hopefully you can hear me again. I had to plug a battery pack into my headphones.
Oh no, that's fine. That's fine. See, it says when I start the call, the default setting for the video behavior so the main screen to be updated with whoever is speaking at the time. However, once I click on individual profile at the bottom, it changes the behavior to keep the video to the user I clicked on. There doesn't seem to be a way to go back to the default behavior of rotating the main window to whoever is speaking. Please, could someone let me know how I can do this? Thanks. You can pin a participant's videos such that they will remain in the main screen no matter who's talking. To pin a video. Well, that's not what they want. I guess it must be a default setting at the start of every stream. So what you should do is just not press anybody's profile at the bottom. So
well, the way I've always done it is to not fuck with the settings. Like I've just sort of let it run as it should work.
Yeah.
And what it's done is it's sort of flashed back and forth between people talking.
Yeah, I think that's the default settings every time you start a stream, but then when you click on people's profiles, it goes to whoever you clicked on. So I think the next time I stream, I just don't touch any of that shit and just let it work how it's supposed to.
Yeah. All right, Simon, you there, brother? Can you talk to us? I'm glad you're here, man.
What I'm hearing in my head is Swampy twice, about 20 seconds delayed, and Chris once, and all three of yous are talking over each other. I got no fucking clue what's going on.
Oh no.
It's all right. There's definitely an internet lag here somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere.
And I just heard my own voice about 30 seconds delayed as well. There's something really weird going on.
Switch on to Simon. Flick it over, unless you're on a fiber or an NBN connection. Flick over onto 4G. Flick over to cellular data, because that could be the bottleneck on your end.
No, it's a desktop, so all I've got is Wi-Fi, but I've got HFC. It's like 30 meg down and 1.5 meg up, so it should be okay.
Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy.
All right. Here, try talking. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the audio. It's really weird. Like I can hear Chris respond to me immediately, and then 20 seconds later, he responds to me again. It's really weird.
I don't think there's an issue with Google Hangouts. I think there's probably just some sort of weird cluster issue going on.
Yeah, it could be because two of us are really, really close, and the other party's quite a long way too.
You know what? Can you hear me? Can you hear me right now? Simon, can you hear me?
What I'm going to do is I'm going to drop out of the chat. I'm going to drop out of the Hangout, and then I'm going to come back in and see if that
Yeah, I can hear you guys, but I don't know whether you're talking to me live or whether I'm hearing something 20 seconds old. That's the problem I'm having. It's really like, what?
Chris, can you hear me right now, though?
Yeah, you and I are in live time, Harry. So what I'm going to do... What I'm going to do is I'm going to drop out of the Hangout, and just can you DM me and see if it changes anything between the connection with you and Simon, and then I'll jump back in. How's that sound?
DM you the link again?
No, I've got the link. Just DM me if there's any sort of audio delay issues between you and Simon.
Okay.
If my dropping out actually fixes it up, yeah. So I'll just drop out and just let me know how it goes.
All right.
All right, cool.
All right. So, Simon, does that sound better? Testing, Simon. Does that sound better to you?
Yeah, well, it's definitely better having one voice instead of three in my ears. That's helping a lot.
Oh, yeah, I could tell there was like about 20 seconds of delay still there.
Yeah, it sounds like we're on an international phone conversation now, except that as I'm saying this, I just heard what I just said before come back in my ears.
Oh, okay. So, it's probably like a setting you have with your headphones where you're hearing like you're hearing yourself plus you're hearing others.
Yeah, when Chris comes back in, if it's the same, I'll drop out and come back in again and see if that does anything.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I mean, except for the fact that like I'm sort of getting you with reasonable delay now, it feels like my voice is going to Chris and then it's going over to you and then it's coming back to you to me. It's really weird.
Yeah, it's kind of confusing. Yeah, I've never heard of that issue before.
No, I haven't done a hangout before, so yeah, I haven't tested it out to see whether there's any bugs. So it could be my end. I don't know. The thing about the HFC is that it's shared, so when everyone jumps on it, it does die down a bit.
Yeah, I think there's something in the settings with Google Hangouts where you can change the latency. You could be set to like 20-30 seconds latency because there's like an actual button through I think the YouTube link or the actual Google Hangouts itself that says like you can actually select the latency of like 20 or 30 seconds.
Yeah, I'm looking. I found some stuff, but it's basic stuff like which webcam, which speaker do you want to use? What else we've got? Oh, okay.
What part of Australia are you based out of?
Oh, I'm in Melbourne, same as Chris. I presume Chris is in Melbourne. I think I saw it on his bio or something.
See, now that you answered me right after I asked, so it doesn't seem like there's latency right at the moment.
Yeah, like when it was all quiet and then we started talking, it was all cool, and then I got my voice back again in my head, and then I got your voice again, and yeah.
Yeah, there's some kind of like internal feedback going on with your wireless headset. Do you have any like little earbuds or something you can just plug in to your computer? Or?
Yeah, I don't think it's audio related though, because before I had the headphones, exactly the same thing going on. Exactly the same. It's something to do with the transport of the audio.
Gotcha.
Bloody technology, eh?
You're right, right.
There we go. Just got the bloody technology over again. It was about 20 seconds, I think.
So you said something and then you just heard yourself say it 20 seconds later?
Yep.
But are you only hearing me once?
I seem to be hearing you only once at the moment.
Gotcha.
No, I heard that twice.
Yeah, Chris is gonna jump back in, and I guess we're gonna like end the stream here, but he'll jump back in quick, just so we can say our parting ways. But yeah, if you get that issue sorted out, definitely We'll have
Yeah, that's cool.
some
We
live
might
streams.
try and try a stream together separately because that kills off a lot of latency issues and stuff, and see if that works. I've never done it before, so
And this
yeah.
one's based out of the This one's based out of the eastern seaboard of the United States. Maybe if Krista's one, it'll probably get better latency or something.
If I do one, it's going to be goddamn sexy. You know, that's what's going to happen.
And you know what? I figured out the issue with who's talking at that one time where it pops up. Down at the bottom where you have the profiles, if you click on a profile, it's highlighted in white. But if you double click on it, it de-highlights it. So then it's pretty much default back to normal. So whoever talks, it pops up. So that's an easy fix. Just figured it out.
Fantastic, fantastic. Highlighted in white. You white supremacist.
I know, right? It's all white because it's all right.
Guys, I'm going to jump out because I want to see if this horrible audio thing stops when I jump out. Because it's just I can't follow it. I can't follow when there's two people talking.
Okay, cool. Jump out and then jump back in.
But yeah, so if you got somebody's profile selected, that means that they pop up all the time. But if you just deselect it and deselect, like, don't select anything else, it jumps back and forth between who's talking. So that's easy as hell. So it's not even in the settings.
Simon's left, man.
Yeah, I think he like popped out completely, and then he'll probably jump back in.
No, I mean, I was like, you started talking as soon as Simon left, and it's really disappointing to me because that would have been the perfect moment for me to start seeing just the two of us.
We can make it if we try.
If we try, just the two of us painting castles in the sky. Yeah.
Oh man, I love the oldies. We're gonna actually be playing a bunch of oldies at my wedding, so I love the oldies.
God damn, man. Wish I could come over for your wedding, man. I'd give it an Australian.
Breeze makes me feel fine.
Floating through the castles in my mind.
Oh, the jazz.
Did I get that right?
No.
Jasmine.
Oh, hang on a second. Can you guys hear me all right?
Yeah, I can
yeah,
hear
we're
you.
just busy. We're busy serenading each other, man.
That's all right. You still hear me?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I figured out the problem. The live stream was open in the background.
Oh well, there you go. Okay, so
it's
I
perfect
did that
now.
to myself the first time I did that to myself when I streamed with Dorky the other night. I had the live stream on my phone, and it was delayed on him. So I'm talking to him, and then I can hear him. So I'm like, oh, let me just mute that quick, so I'm not hearing it like a feed. But it's like you were inceptioning yourself there.
It's the old talkback radio trick I've fallen for.
It's like,
turn your radio down.
It's like, yeah, we can't hear you on the radio.
All right, talk to Simon. All right, talk to us, Simon. You've just jumped in. You've been following the stream as much as possible. Yeah, talk to us, man. What's going on?
Why don't I give you the 2-minute version of where I am today and where I was 2 years ago, because I was pretty depressed 2 years ago.
Give us the Reader's Digest version.
I just saw the lefties taking over and just saw utter bullshit being paraded as, some kind of worthwhile reading.
Fact. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm just sick of it. And I've not had a home in politics in Australia at all my whole life. There's so much conflict. I can think, oh yeah, those guys on the right make sense, but they're religious as fuck. I'm not. Then you go over to the left, oh yeah, they're all atheists. This is cool, but they're assholes and they don't understand money. Where do I belong?
Sounds like
this has always been a bit of a problem. But what I do is I just go, right, politics to election time. Who's got the most adults in charge? And they get the vote. And if nobody's got enough adults in charge, nobody gets a vote. And it's really simple and it works. And so that's where I've been at. But
well, it sounds like you're a libertarian. I mean,
I'm not really sure exactly with like old and new labels, but yeah, that's pretty solid. I think that's a safe one to pin on me.
Could I ask a question just to follow up of what Harry just asked in terms of being libertarian? would you classify, because I think I classify myself as a libertarian, but I classify myself as a social libertarian in the sense that I don't really give a fuck what you do in your personal life as long as it's in the bounds of the law. So, fuck whoever you want as long as it's legal.
Yeah,
smoke whatever you want as long as it's legal. But
I go one step further than that. I will let you break the law if you're the only person that gets harmed and nobody sees. I couldn't give a shit.
Mm-hmm.
I was just
that's about where I stop.
Man, that's more of a conservative mentality than.
Well,
I'm a bit conservative, but I'm not like big C conservative. I'm like C conservative. I like conserving money, but I also like conserving the environment as well, if it's possible. It's not a number one goal, but if it's there, I'll take it. Conservative is such a narrowly defined word. It's huge. You can argue just about anything's conservative if you take the right angle. So, it's like. We understand what it traditionally means, but man, you can take a conservative approach to anything from any angle. It's.
Well, you have to go back to.
Sorry, I wanted to actually just finish what I was asking.
Yep.
Which was, and I think you probably summed it up anyway. Which was, do you fall, sort of politically libertarian, socially libertarian, politically conservative, socially conservative. But I think you probably summed that up pretty succinctly just then. And
hey Chris, those political compass things. I did the one on the I did the one on the ABC, and it put me to the right of the Liberals. I nearly died.
I did the one where you have the 4 aspects, like authoritarian.
Yeah.
Yada. I popped up on the conservative libertarian. So I was pretty much center, and just a little bit to the right and a little bit to the bottom, like right next to the center, but on the right. So
yeah, I think I found an international one which made a lot more sense, because I thought the Australian ones, the questions were like very Australian politically,
very
specific,
loaded,
and I didn't want that. The international one I found, I was on a line between Gandhi and what's his name? That economist guy. Is it Milton Friedman? It's about halfway on a line between those two. So I was like, oh well, it's good company.
Well, Simon, and this is someone you won't know, Harry, but you do have to follow him, which is Mace McLean, Mason Opie, on Twitter. Definitely follow that guy. Shout outs to you, Mace.
Mace.
But yeah, well, the funny thing is, he sent me a political compass test not that long ago. And it was which ruthless dictator you were. I came up as Hitler, so it's official. The left or right, I am literally.
Oh, I definitely want. I want to do that right now. I want to do that with you guys present.
Yeah, I am literally Hitler. But no, if I do a political compass test on the social side, I fall sort of left of center in terms of sort of social issues. In regard to everything else, I fall on the right.
What quiz was it? Was it the Pro Profs, or was it Play Buzz, or Poison? I want to do this quiz.
Oh, dude, I'll have to find the link for you, man. I might have to DM you. It may. Yeah,
there's like there's like 5 or 6 different quizzes you can take. But which
apparently people aren't getting audio on this, Harry.
People aren't getting any audio?
Yeah, just give me 2 seconds, man. I'm just going to mute myself and check the audio.
Okay.
Yeah,
no problem.
I find those political compass tests too. Like, I could do it like 5 times in a month and not get the same answer every single time, because some of those questions are a bit open to interpretation. And if you get me on a different day and I think of a different analogy, I might think of a slightly different answer. There's if you guys know Sargon of Akkad, He
yes, the love
he did
star.
one of those, and he went right through it, explaining what his rationale was for answering each of the ones. So it was really good because you kind of got to, oh, okay, well, I wouldn't have thought that, but it would be interesting to do it blind and then go back and do it using his reasoning and see exactly what the difference was. Because I find them a little bit subjective.
Okay. Yeah. See. Yeah. It's based on like how you're processing like the news of the day or like what the last
Yeah, exactly.
piece of like propaganda you read, and it can change your aspect from day to day. And
Even the language in the questions.
I just checked the live stream on YouTube, which I got running in the background, and yeah, it's definitely working. I can hear the audio.
Oh no, it's definitely fine. I just want to give a shout out to Daniel #DailyUpWho for confusing me into thinking there was no audio on here.
Oh, that's Daniel. Hey, yo, Daniel Garral. This guy, he's a big guy to follow on Twitter too. You guys should check him out. He's pretty awesome.
Dude, that's my boy, man. He's actually a Latinx midget.
Yeah.
How the fuck do you be an ex-midget?
No, he's a
child.
Latinx.
I've known him for months now. I've known him for months.
He's a Latinx midget. Latino X.
Oh, yeah, okay, no way, gotcha.
Yeah. He's that guy's into some weird stuff. Like he's Daniel Garral.
He is.
So he's into weird stuff, but he's not an ex-midget. Okay, got it.
No, he's a Latinx midget.
I mean, as if the duplicate audio wasn't spinning me out bad enough before. Now you have to go and throw that. Ex-midgets. Fucking hell.
Yeah, but I just like, yeah, that's him. Yeah, I love that guy. He always.
See, sometimes, Chris, text rules. Okay, don't forget that.
Harry, have you got what you want, man? Have you got the shit talking podcast live stream, whatever that you wanted, man? This was your dream.
I know this was a good stream. We talked about some serious stuff. We were shooting shit too. This is pretty much as good as
I learned how to hang out.
I know, yeah. You learn and you learn how to figure out your hangouts. So that's good. So next time,
the YouTube page down, you dickhead.
So, or I just mute that so I can keep looking at the chat so I can keep interacting with people. But yeah, this is definitely a good stream. Like we'll definitely be doing this again. I'm gonna get Rubber Dorky on here. He's pretty chill. He's from LA. So man, and I did Add a Motivator Opinion did DM me back. He says, sorry, I'm out right now. So I'm just like, oh, that's too bad.
That is like, too bad.
I know, like I would definitely love to like tear into his arguments because I want to make a YouTube video. I want to make a YouTube video on all the bullshit that he likes to spew, how he likes to be, and how he is actually dripping with autism.
Oh, dude, multiple chromosomes is where it's at.
Autism is so underrated.
with the lag on Simon's feed, it actually looks like he's got autism.
Oh, mate, if I pan the camera around the lounge room, you won't have any fucking doubts about that.
What are you petting right there? Your dog?
Yeah, that's my dog.
Oh, cool.
Sorry.
Yeah, my mom's gonna go on Labor Day weekend, and she's gonna drop off her cat, so it's gonna be up with us for the weekend. So that's cool. I always grew up with cats. I like cats, so I have a good time. I like.
Do you grab? Yeah. Is that why you voted for Trump?
He's a cat grabber.
Well, you see now I'm all about if you're grabbing the pussy by the proper means. Like if they're just throwing themselves at you, then yeah, by all means, go ahead. But you can't be got no creepy, rapey stuff going on there. But that's what the left likes to throw at them. But
Yeah.
but
I
no,
have actually been in bars, well, a bar in Indonesia where grabbing by the pussy is totally fine. We had this
well, you
thing
gotta
called-
make in Indonesia, right? You gotta make sure that what you're grabbing isn't just a big old dick.
Oh no, the banshees. Yeah, they hang out on this weird street at night. They're not very accepted, so they're kind of shunned into waving their cocks at taxis.
What has happened?
This stream has gone rock bottom right now.
You wanted this, Harry.
Yeah,
You wanted multiple voices.
This is I mean, this is going to be up on my YouTube channel, so for all to see. So near the end of the stream, if people stay that long, we're going to be talking about chicks with dicks. So
yeah, well, you can just advertise this stream as reasons why not to talk to Australians.
That's all right. There's quite a few Michelle Obama videos trending at the moment, so it's a bit of a hot topic.
Oh yeah, there's something questionable.
Are you talking about Michael?
Oh, I know.
Sorry, Michael. Sorry. Oh, Jesus, I've just misgendered her. Him. Fuck. Oh God. I'm going to SJW, aren't I, guys?
Oh, jeez. It's like she's got like a pickle or a cucumber down there somewhere.
Yeah.
Actually, I saw a Periscope from this chick. She's, oh yeah, I'm an Obama supporter, blah blah blah. I heard the rumors, blah blah blah. I'm not going to touch this, but I've just got to say, blah. But I was like, she rants a bit, but the one thing is, lady, it doesn't matter whether it's crept up at the front or crept up at the back. The correction comes from behind. And I was like, yeah, I got to ask some women that. Apparently, you don't pull your undies out from the front if you're a girl. You pull them out from behind, no matter where they're wedged. Now, that's an interesting theory, isn't it? Ask every girl you know, see what they say. When she said it, I was like, shit, that sounds quite reasonable. And also, being like more obsessed with not being pigs in public, they're hardly likely to reach around on the front, are they? They're likely to go for the little discreet tug at the back. It makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, because it's undignified for ladies to start grabbing at
Yeah, exactly. They're more concerned with being dignified in public than, well, especially me, obviously, but you know.
Well, I mean, a lot of these social justice warrior ladies now with their short purple hair and their freaking tattoos saying like I'm my own woman or something, and like showing their like breasts with like duct tape over the nipples. I'm like,
I don't know. I see those tattoos and I read untouchable. Doesn't matter what language they're printed in.
Well,
like, you know what? We're pulling a Kathy Griffin. Chris is broken. He broke him. We broke him.
You broke Chris.
Oh god.
You know what? And that about Kathy
Griffin,
Griffin,
I can't wait for that tour.
She was on Sunrise the other day. So she's not sorry anymore for what she did with her whole ISIS beheading stuff. I'm like,
well,
you know what?
Isn't it just amazing? She's got no fucking career in America anymore, and so she's over here, and she's going to be doing a tour over here. The only buttfuck place in the world that would book her for a bloody tour.
Germany would be fine with that.
Oh yeah, Angela Merkel would. Yeah, well.
I don't know. I think Sam Armitage has got a lot of followers. If Kathy Griffin decides to turn up here, she's not going to get that warm a welcome. She was a real bitch to Sam, and Sam's lovely. Everyone hates Sam in the media. They are so nasty to her, and she's got so many people behind her because of that.
Well, she told her, didn't she tell her to shut up? Simon, or didn't she tell her to like...
she said, you're full of crap.
Yeah, full of crap. I'm like, what?
The worst bit was the bit at the end when that fucking red-headed bitch pulled the old, oh, I thought sisters were supposed to stick together.
Oh God!
Are you for real?
It's kind of like saying to a black conservative, "You're just a coon because you're not."
It's no different. It's exactly the same principle. You're a fucking traitor to your
Kind,
thing that I'm not supposed to notice, color or gender.
Or it's like,
you know,
or vagina. Yeah, it's like you're a traitor to the rest of us with vaginas.
What's wrong with these people?
See, that goes into my argument that I was saying earlier. It's just cookie cutter. You can just replace black with female, and instead of a racial argument, you got a feminist argument.
You know what my favorite new acronym is? Oh, hang on, I've got to get it right. LGBTQIAAP-BLM. What a cracker.
Please.
The only people aren't included are us. Why don't they just say non-white men, you know, and leave it at that?
Well, I like LGBTQAAIPPWTF.
And I'm also very, very partial to LGBTI QWERTY because it's just easy.
Yeah, I like.
See, I just go
like
like LGBT.
It's nicely arranged if it's QWERTY.
So
Hey,
I'm just like,
Chris, do you watch Q&A much? Sorry, Swampy. Chris, do you watch Q&A much?
No, because
Good, help me.
otherwise, I don't like flinging my head against. Well, the thing is, I don't like throwing things at my television set.
Yeah, no, I'm the same. Let me just ask you. Let me just try and remind you of something and see if this jogs your memory. There was
Just
the same
actually,
sex.
Can we actually bring Harry in on this and let him know what Q&A is? So Harry, Q&A Q&A is a television program. It's a panel discussion program over here in Australia on our taxpayer-funded network, the ABC. And the ABC, because they are a taxpayer-funded network, should remain impartial, but they're not. They're very left-wing. They push a leftist
political,
agenda.
or is this like every day?
It's
you know what it used to be. It used to be what it's fucking called, questions
So-
and answers, but it's got political.
Yeah, so Q&A is what it is. It's a Q&A show, and so it does focus on both political and societal issues. Panel-based audience interaction. The BBC have a similar thing, a similar program. But yeah, it is
over here like that.
No, well, you don't in the US. So the United Kingdom do, we do. But yeah, it's very left wing when the network it's being broadcast on should be completely impartial and should be in the middle. So I just wanted to say that because Simon's going to talk about Q&A.
Yeah, it was this the topic of I'm not sure if it was same-sex marriage or what it was. It was a few years ago, but some young gay fella in the audience has got up to ask his question. And it's like, do you think that members of the LGBTQ and he was like, he got there, but he was almost embarrassed that he got it wrong himself. It's like, oh, look, it's even confusing for us gays. And I was just like, oh, dear. You had a snippet of intelligence right in front of you. And what did you do with it? You fucking threw it away like a dandelion. Idiot.
So I'm just like LGBTQI exclamation point, pound sign, percentage point, ampersand, asterisk. I'm like, okay.
Well, how's this, Harry? How's this, Harry? I've been trying to get this up, right? Because I like to be Internet Jesus and bring everybody to get off the volume knob. Sorry. I like to be Internet Jesus and bring everyone together. So let's have 2 genders only, but everybody is included. So we're going to have cisgender, that's us, and susgender, that's everybody else. What do you reckon?
That sounds like a good idea. I mean, we'll just have to figure out the pronouns for that.
I haven't got that far. I'm Jesus, not God.
Oh shit! But yeah, but like when it comes to these genders, I'm like they like every week they roll out with something else that's just like caters to the fad that's going on that week. Like they're actually trying to like create like I mean they have other kin, which is like you feel like another kind of animal. I'm like what? I mean and they're trying to.
They've got two spirit. I don't even know what two spirit means. But then you've got You know, you've got trans, asterisk, male, female. Like, it is just absolutely mind-boggling.
What about transabled?
Yeah, no, I know of. Yeah, so transabled.
It's just
So well, transabled is not just a word. It actually does exist in this ridiculous zeitgeist. So
I'm not
you've
sure.
got
I
people
want you to continue.
No. So you do actually have transabled people, and these are people who have extreme mental health issues that result in body dysmorphia, whereby they want to remove.
Those ones.
They want to
those
remove.
people who want to be disabled.
Yeah, so they want to remove their own limbs.
Yeah, but I think also, Chris, isn't under that banner like people who like that arm doesn't belong to me? Isn't there like some branch of that as well?
Yeah, well, that's the whole thing. They feel like their arm or their leg doesn't belong to them.
Well, it reminds me of that story of that woman who blinded herself because she felt better she'd be blind. I'm like, she put freaking liquid Drano in her eyes, and she actually had a doctor who did it for her. I'm like, are you nuts?
I remember that from a few years ago. I mean, I think that was on Salon in about 2014, 2015. It was just absolutely ridiculous. And the worst thing is that these independent leftist progressive media outlets actually provide these individuals who legitimately need mental health. They provide them a platform. They provide legitimacy to these, kind of ridiculous things. These things that cause irreparable harm to the human body, not just the human body, but also, if these people weren't, mentally damaged to begin with, they're going to be mentally damaged even further after the fact.
I mean, for a lot of these people, it's all relative. I'm like, well, who's to say? They wouldn't be depressed with or without their limbs. I mean, like, so we should just cater to what they want to do right now, because who are we to judge what they're going through? Like, no, there's a line that should be set in the sand, that okay, this person wants to chop off their limb. Yeah, there's something wrong with you. Let's give you treatment so you don't want to chop off your limb. It's kind of like people who cut themselves, like kids who like take a razor and cut their arms up or cut their legs up. These kids, they're lashing out on themselves. It's not that they know what they want. It's because they don't know what's going on in their brain. And
well, you make a very, very good point there, Harry. So we have kids who cut themselves because of, there's a litany list of reasons why kids would cut themselves. I mean, we all had teen angst when we were younger. Not all of us cut ourselves, but there were kids who presumably we all knew who cut themselves. And those kids, rightly receive mental health treatment. But you've got a kid who wants to do that, or who does that. They receive mental health treatment, but you've got a kid of, let's say, the same age, who, instead of cutting themselves, wants to chop their dick off because they're convinced they're a girl, and that has unwavering legitimacy.
Yeah, I was about to say. So how somehow that's legitimate.
It is just mental. It is just mental.
Like, the kid who wants to chop his dick off knows that he wants to do that. If these kids are any younger than what do you do to hit puberty, their brain hasn't developed to that point to even start thinking about these things. And that is when you have to start looking at who's teaching these kids and who's telling them all these things. And
this goes back to what I was telling you about safe schools over here in Australia. This sort of Marxist gender theory program that we have rolled out over here. Telling kids of a very young age that, hey, it's perfectly okay to wear a dress, and they're teaching kids in school, as young as 8, 9 years old, about masturbation techniques and sex toys and dildos and same-sex relate. You've got to be kidding me! This is sick. This is really sick.
And they do it under the guise of we're just making it to where we are. The kids who are different, or the kids who think they're transgendered, we give them a safe space to be. But oh, look at this! Somehow there's now a big influx of kids who are transgendered because what they're freaking.
I have to say, I think South
that's the
Park
thing.
has called all of this and called it ages ago, especially that same-sex crap. Did you see the one where Mr. Garrison's teaching kindergarten kids how to put a condom on with his mouth over a dildo?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
That's where this is going. Maybe not 20 years, maybe not 50 years, but that's where it goes. I can look at anything and go, right, what's the logical conclusion? And I don't even know if these guys are smart enough to know where they're going, but I know where they're going.
You saw that YouTube video, parents teaching their kids, and that was promoted by YouTube, parents teaching their kids about sexual toys. I'm just like, and so you got stuff like this. So YouTube is going to be clamping down with censorship, yet they're going to be promoting video that is pretty much child abuse, telling kids about their sexual habits of masturbation or something when they shouldn't know what they were doing as a kid. Like, some kids will touch themselves because they're just exploring, but that's all they're doing. It's not like they know that they are trying to get off on it. I mean, and that's something that could be tipped later.
Well, YouTube, as you said, they'll clamp down on absolutely everything that doesn't fit their political narrative. Yet they're allowing channels such as the Queer Kids,
queer kids stuff. It's like, hi Teddy, we're gonna learn about freaking LGBTQ, what Q means in LGBTQ. I'm like, no, kids don't need to and I saw the description to that channel. Its target age range is 3 to 7. What the fuck are you doing teaching these kids who are 3 to 7 about different genders or different sexual orientations? They don't know.
Just tell him he's got a boyfriend instead of a girlfriend. They'll work it out later.
I'll be back. I'll be back. All
right. These kids, their brains are not developed to the point where they're going to even understand any of the things that you're trying to teach them. So by the time they hit puberty, they've got this skewed mentality, and their aspect and how they're supposed to think about things is completely out of whack. So they're going to grow up and they're going to be completely out of the norm. They're going to become that two wonderkin cis-spirited freaking weirdo that they're telling us that everybody is becoming.
Yeah, it's one of the biggest beefs I have with the whole program. It's like, content aside, it's not age appropriate. Why are you teaching kids stuff that they need to have fucking puberty to understand what's actually going on? It doesn't make sense. You don't teach kids to drive at 12.
That's why when I have a kid, I'm definitely going to homeschool my kid until they are at least in grade 6 or grade 7, to where they can critically think for themselves, and they can hold ideas up to the chopping block and be like, no, that sounds pretty crazy, or yeah, I can go along with that idea, based off the fact that they can actually critically think and break stuff down without it just being spoon-fed into them when they're 4 years old. And because the child's mind at that young age is one of the most malleable one of the most malleable minds that can be. And some of the rudimentary things that they're supposed to be taught, such as simple math or courtesy and all this yada yada yada, is being replaced by gender identity and all this stuff. So that's all they're gonna that's the main thing their brain's gonna revolve around when they get older, and they're gonna be complete misfits in society.
Harry, just to get a bit of a feel for whether the US has got a similar issue or not, the percentage of female teachers in our schools, in our two biggest states, Victoria and New South Wales, is over 80%. So there's a huge lack of male role models lacking.
That's the national.
at
That's
school
around
time.
the national
Now-
average here. That's around the national
Okay.
average here. Like you have like
it wouldn't
80%
surprise me
female.
that was like a Western country thing. I don't think it's an Australian thing. I think it's a bit of a Western thing. I think
Well, they consider
a lot of the
Australia.
men have probably got a bit like, I think some of the men have got a bit weirded out about, you know, being looked at as predators and stuff. You know, I mean, imagine if you're a male teacher and you've got a really good relationship with a few female students, but one of the female teachers hates your guts.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
You'd
You'd be worried about putting your hand on her shoulder in front of that teacher, wouldn't you?
No, that falls into this whole gynocentric, feministic society to where you believe, like when it comes to this rape culture crap. Oh no, believe, listen and believe, and
how about
men
listen
are considered,
and analyze, and how about
yeah,
listen to everybody equally, and then analyze
like
this?
men are
Listen and
considered-
believe, piss off, no way.
men are considered like predators and rapists and pigs, and that you should always be suspicious, and it's a big turnoff. When if you look 50 years ago, the majority of teachers were men. I mean, what the lack, a lot of the lack of what's going on in our society is the lack of male role models, like good male role models, and pretty much being masculine is now taboo. I mean,
and this is at home as well. You know, there's more single mothers than ever before,
and they're propped up.
there's
Single
women
is propped up.
filling the schools, so they're not getting any male influence unless they've got, you know, large extended family or, you know, close friends or something.
Well,
it's
who needs a strong man when you have the state, when you have the government state looking after you and giving you a paycheck that way. So it's a incentive to actually be a single parent on the female side than it is to actually have a cohesive family unit with two role models. But it goes back. I'm going to just go back to this feminist aspect here when it comes to teaching. They are hugely hypocritical by saying that you know, what was I going to say? Shit, I was losing my train of thought. But they're giant hypocrites when they say that women should aspire to do all these things and break the barriers and break the ceilings, yet they want to coddle them at the same time and protect them from the big old bad man. So I'm just like, it's either there is an issue or there isn't an issue, but it's pretty much men are at fault for either it being an issue or not. So
yeah, it's a lot of the feminist stuff, and this is what I don't understand, why they don't just get taken to pieces. So much of their stuff is just patronizing as hell to a woman with her own mind.
Oh yeah,
it's insanely patronizing.
It's patronizing to other women who actually don't believe in this crap, because it's pretty much the same reaction that they have to a black conservative. You're just a coon. These women are just internalizing the misogyny, and they don't understand. And
they're literally internalizing the misogyny. Getting a big old load full.
But I'm
Silly
just like,
girls.
Hey, I'm back.
Hey,
Bitches.
Hey, how
Just
you doing?
Interrupting your conversation. You guys keep going, but I just want to say that I got a truckload of internalized misogyny.
I've got about like 2 days build up right now.
I don't want to know about that, man.
Well, depending on how you measure it, I've either got 4 hours or 7 years. Take your pick.
But I mean, it's patronizing to real women.
Why do you think I took a break? I had a massive build up.
That's what all the fucking cigarettes are for. Oh, now it all
cigarettes.
Reminds me of a Monty Python skit. I don't know. I'm not going to say which one, but But yeah, it's completely patronizing to actual women, and it's complete misandrous shit show when it comes to men, and I hate this whole thing like feminism is for everyone. Feminism is for equality. I'm like, no, bullshit. Feminism is in its word, feminism, as in women. If you want to go about equal for both sexes, go to egalitarianism. That's where it is.
That's where Australia used to be at. We've slipped.
But you slipped on the internalized misogyny.
I don't know. I can't even really comment on what you guys are talking about because I've been out of the loop for the last, however long it took me to get what I needed to get done.
Dude, that only takes me about 30 seconds, but I don't know.
Oh, well, here's an interesting little tidbit, Chris. Apparently, the US has 80% female teachers as well. About on average.
I mean, don't quote me on that. I think that's just a rough estimate. That's like the last number I think I remember. That's kind of accurate. So it's like I think it's like 5-to-1 ratio of male to female teachers.
It's probably a lot stronger in primary school too. I went to a primary school.
It's almost like
they had to have a boy and a girl, so it was a moot point. But
it's almost
you go to a big enough primary school.
Here in America, if you have a male teacher who's teaching kindergartners or grade 1 and grade 2, it's almost taboo. It's like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Why is he teaching these kids? It's like it's like an automatic suspicion. It's an automatic like, oh, are you sure he's not? So okay, well, like, as long as he's got a good history and we're all fine. But it's that automatic suspicion. It's like, bang! It's like right in the front of your mind. Like, what's his real reason to be teaching these young kids? I'm just like, and I hate that.
Well, we have exactly the same thing over here, and I don't doubt that there's a country in the Western world that doesn't.
I think it's a Western thing. We discussed that.
Oh, sorry. As I said, I've jumped in after doing.
I'm just agreeing with you. I don't have proof, but I suspect it is
because we all know that it's happening.
Well, for example. It was probably a year or so back, there was an instance where there was a man at a shopping mall here in Australia, and he was taking a photo. It was like a life-size like Star Wars figurine or something at a shopping mall. It might have been a Darth Vader or Luke Skywalker. I don't know. I don't watch Star Wars. I've got no idea about it. But anyway, what he was doing is he was holding his phone up to take a photo of him in front of this sort of life-size figurine. And there was a woman who was at the supermarket, and she took a photo of this man. She was at the supermarket with her children. She took a photo of this man, posted it on social media, and said something to the effect of, and I'm paraphrasing, this pervert here was trying to take photos of my children.
Jesus.
When he caught her in the background of his selfie with.
No. He was doing this. So imagine there was a Star Wars figurine behind me. Can you imagine that? Right. Yeah. So there's a figurine behind me, and this guy's doing this with his cell phone. And there was a woman on this side of the cell phone, right? And she's at the supermarket with her children, and she's thusly taken photograph of this man and said, this sicko was trying to take photographs of my children. And she's posted it on social media, and this thing's gone viral. This thing hit the news websites, everything.
Jeez.
And so it turns out
around the world quicker than the truth gets its pants on.
Mm-hmm.
And so it turns out this man was actually taking a selfie in front of the Star Wars figurine to send his kids. He'd seen this really cool life-size Star Wars figurine at a shopping mall, and he was taking a selfie to send it to his kids or show to his children. And this lunatic has said this man was trying to take photographs of my children and suggested he was a pervert. It went all the rounds through social media. This guy was called up at his place of work.
I was about to say, what happened?
He was interviewed by the police.
Oh my God.
And this poor bloke pretty much had his whole reputation ruined as a pervert because he was trying to take a selfie with a Star Wars figurine to send or to show his own children.
I would have sued this woman. I would have sued her.
Yeah,
for
it might be
damages.
hard here, but in America, oh yeah, knock her out.
I mean, it's just like it's common sense here. Because I'm a stickler for common sense, and like it really starts to annoy me when.
Like I understand.
No, go ahead.
I understand basic. No, I understand basic risk assessment, in the sense that, I'll use the example of profiling. If at an airport where, and this is a Sam Harris argument, we should, and even Avi Yemeni says this as well, like we should
profile the turban-wearing, long-bearded person with the big old puffy chest.
Yeah, as opposed to the 80-year-old woman who looks like Betty White.
Yeah. Oh no, you're just being.
So I understand basic, but yeah, I understand basement and looking at the sort of most likely person, which is exactly why airlines such as Qantas, I don't know how well known this is, but Qantas will not seat an unaccompanied minor next to a male passenger.
Which is very interesting because the only time I've ever been sexually assaulted was on a Qantas aircraft. Wow. Gee, they really care about sexual issues, don't they?
No, but no. I mean, that's kind of taking it somewhere else. But I totally agree with that, because there is a higher risk, there is a higher chance that a minor will be abused if they're an unaccompanied minor will be abused if they're sat next to a male. I agree with that.
Yeah, that's a fair point, Chris. But you got to remember, it's on a plane. Like there's people everywhere. There's stewards everywhere. They can land in the nearest country and dump you in the nearest jail if they want to. They've got total control over you. That's why I get the point you're saying and risk assessment, but at some point, do you take into consideration, are we being assholes to people unnecessarily? There's got to be a line drawn, and where do you draw it?
It's almost the aspect of they are guilty until proven innocent.
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
I mean, I hate that.
Yeah, but the thing is that would both of you draw that same argument out toward what I said previously with profiling people in airports who may look like they come from or who come from Middle Eastern countries.
Well,
there's a slight difference because one touches a kid, another one brings down a whole plane, kills the kid and everyone else on board. That's
no. But
I'd be a lot less upset about offending people in that circumstance. That's what I'm saying.
No, but the principle is exactly the same.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that there should be a line drawn between how much offence do we cause and how much caution do we take. And I'm saying that I would determine that line separately in the cabin, and I would determine that line separately again at the screening area where people are boarding the aircraft.
I mean,
do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like, and
I'm like this a lot of the time. I don't always have a principle that works all the way through. It's like I do like to know the circumstances.
And it also breaks down to percentages. Like, you have there's nuance when it comes to, like sexual predators, like because the sexual predator can be younger, older. They can be black, white, Middle Eastern, Asian. They can be female. Like it's all you have to look. You have to break those down by percentages. But if you're looking at let's say we're talking about terrorism here, like what 95% of all terrorism is coming from Muslims, Arabs. Like that disparaging that percentage is probably a lot more concentrated to terrorists from like Arab backgrounds who are Muslim than to like a child molester, where those percentages are broken up probably more evenly across the different races and sexes and stuff like that.
Well, no, they're definitely broken up quite evenly across races. It's definitely broken up quite evenly over you know, socioeconomic backgrounds, racial lines, etc., etc. But the thing is that the high risk of a sexual assault happening on an aircraft to a minor who's unaccompanied is at the hands of a male than a female.
I know, but
yep, I'd go with
how many instances of sexual assault did happen on a plane that was in the air? How many times did that happen when the kid was sitting right next to a man?
I got no idea if it's ever happened. I've never heard any stats.
I know, because like
yeah, but the thing is, if
we're all sitting into a plane, and you know how tight the packed those planes are. I mean, you can't get away with anything like that.
If you're running a company that is as large as an airline, would you want to take the risk?
I would take that risk, because
your company would be destroyed in 2 minutes flat.
Because I didn't follow the PC attitude and allowed a man to sit next to a kid.
No, your company would be destroyed in 2 minutes flat if anything happened to a child.
I mean, but what about my company if my entire plane gets blown out of the sky and everybody dies?
Yeah, well, you're conflating two separate things.
Oh, well, we can argue with that there. But, I mean,
no,
would you be less
inclined to... This is awesome, isn't it? How awesome... Shush. How awesome is this? We're all disagreeing with each other. We'd be sucking each other's dicks if we were lefties.
I know, right? I would have kicked you all out of my chat by now. I'd be like, this stream is over. But no,
it just shows that we don't exist in the hive mind. But
well, here's my question. Let me do my one question here.
Yeah,
would you be less inclined to get use an airline that has had repeated...
Oh, this is the right way to ask it. This is exactly the right way to ask it.
Yeah, would you be less inclined to fly in an airliner that has had a streak of terrorist attacks where, like, a plane was driven to a building or blown out of the sky, or people were shot up on that plane, to as opposed to another airliner which has had a couple instances of molestation on board? That goes down to the personal, like, it goes down to the primal matter of, am I going to be safe?
That's kind of really splitting it out into two issues, which Chris was complaining about before, actually, because it really depends whether you got kids or not. That's the first question I'm going to ask you.
I think.
But this is about unaccompanied minors.
It's not assuming you have kids on a plane.
If you have your kids on a plane, if you're the father of those kids, of course those kids are going to be sitting next to you.
Well, maybe here's the question. You've got a choice. Your kid can get blown up or molested on your flight overseas. What do you pick?
Jesus,
that makes it easy.
I would pick the molestation, because then I'm going to kick that guy's ass as soon as we get off the plane. I mean, I can't kick the terrorist ass if we're all blown up over the Pacific somewhere.
Well, there's
I'm being a bit of a smart ass, Chris. I'm not being totally serious, but you know,
But
a
like,
way
this
to
is
frame it.
going down to like the what if and the reality of it. I mean, would you rather be blown up, or would you rather have your day in court with the guy who molested your kid, and then like, I mean,
And get your kid back.
Yes, you got to weigh that right there. I mean,
Hmm.
it's
Yeah, but if you
reality. It
isolate them,
sucks. Like, it
isolate them,
sucks.
Harry.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that
So,
getting
okay, this
molested.
airline's had a string of pedophile attacks, and this one hasn't. Nobody's going with pedo airlines, are they?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's true.
But I have to say, I have not heard of this happening at all.
I know. I mean,
ever.
yeah, that falls into
Not
the
that I
realm
go
of,
looking for this kind of stuff, but I just thought you just think a headline would have grabbed you somewhere if it had happened. It's certainly not endemic because we would all know about it.
I mean, we've all heard about, people like joining the Mile High Club, but that's like consenting adults.
Mm.
Yeah, well, that doesn't really happen.
I mean, well,
either,
you know
the
what?
Mile
The
High
one
Club.
It's not much.
instances I have heard, but this is still not in the same context, is the Lolita Express with Bill Clinton and his one billionaire buddy flying out to their whatever, like, Kitty Island, and on board they got, a bunch of succulent hot dogs, and they're, going at those succulent hot dogs while they're flying all
Bloody
over.
Pizzagate. God, that stinks.
Yeah.
But there's too much code.
Just
too much code. It's like, yuck, I don't like it.
No.
All I was going to say was, I just think comparing comparing terrorism to the potential terrorism to potential child molestation on an aircraft flight. We're talking about two very, very separate issues here.
They're both really bad, though.
But the thing is that the profiling needs to happen, and if we're going to profile people who are of a Middle Eastern background and look at them as potential terrorists, and we on the right agree with that.
Yep. So Chris is just asking for consistency. That's all.
Yeah. Then we should also agree with the fact that from a purely statistical point of view, a purely data-driven point of view, that there is a higher risk placing an unaccompanied minor next to a male.
That's pretty much.
That's coming from a male. I'm a man.
Oh,
that's
no,
coming
I
from a
understand.
man.
No, I don't want
at that point, we should be. At that point, then profiling should happen to everybody. Like, we should profile the Colombian, which has a big suitcase along with her. We should profile that Jamaican with the dreadlocks about that funny smell coming out of his bag. I mean, just.
Oh, hell yeah, man! Hell yeah! That's
This is all slippery slope stuff. That's the problem.
Yes, that's slippery slope, because then pretty much we have the TSA over here in America, where you'll have random checks instead of random checks. Everybody's going to be checked. It doesn't matter who you are. It's like, we're gonna, like, all the white men, we're gonna look at you for either being a Nazi or a freaking or a child molester. All you Colombians, we're gonna make sure you're not drug dealers. All you Arabs there, we're gonna make sure you're not a terrorist. I mean, when's it gonna stop?
It does go on. I mean, I'll give you an example. When a plane that's flown direct from China comes into Tullamarine Airport, every single Chinese person gets sent to customs to look for duck eggs and pork. Every single one of them. There's just a bloke stands out the front like this, pointing to the red line in customs, because they know the pricks bring stuff in.
But there's a very, very distinct difference between, I think, what you were alluding to, Harry, which was where does it end, which tails back to identity politics, and us, the authorities, looking at statistical averages and basic sort of risk assessment. Within certain groups.
If we were sitting next to the TSA picking out the people who to search, we'd probably be agreeing on 80% of them.
Oh yeah, I'd agree too.
Well, it comes back to the. Well, I think let's put it on a ground level here, as opposed to 35,000 feet in the air. But just on a ground level perspective, we can, I think, probably all agree that there are certain characteristics that come with, okay, for example, Australians are how would you, in 3 words, how would you describe Australians, Harry? Off the top of your head, just based on sort of a thought about us as a people.
Rugged, wild.
He hasn't met any Aussie millennials.
No, I think he's just describing me at this point.
Stereotypes. Yeah, stereotypes. No, it's about stereotypes, and you're getting to that point where we're talking about what's stereotypes, and it's based off of profiling. I mean, and profiling is not just something that was created by the authorities. That's a natural thing that happens in the human brain.
Exactly right. And that's exactly the point that I was going to go to next. That I think that we can, we can say
prejudice is natural. It's an ugly thing. Get it out there.
It's a natural thing.
Well, no, I don't think stereotypes are prejudicial. I think that we can ascribe certain traits and characteristics to Americans, Canadians, English people, and, you know, God forbid, African people or Asian people or Western European people, you know. God forbid I'm a racist for suggesting that. But
you don't know how many times people ask me, like, do you drink syrup? Like, do you drink maple syrup all the time? Like, I'm just like, yeah, it's just funny. It's just funny.
Yeah, but like beyond silly things like that, beyond your drinking syrup or my eating Vegemite, we can, you know.
Yeah, they're not very harmful. Like all black steel. That's what's killing people when stereotypes come up. You know, it's maple syrup. I don't think I'd care about maple syrup if I was a Canadian. I think so. And this is a bit important because I think this is where white privilege comes in. We don't have anything to get hung shit on. That's why they're pissed off at us.
Oh yeah, I've got a lot of white privilege. I'm paying more in taxes, and like I'm getting called a Nazi all the time. I guess if that's my privilege, then so
you are a fucking Nazi, Harry.
I mean, if that's my privilege, then I guess like, oh yeah, I got a ton of white privilege right now.
You fucking part your hair on the same side as Hitler did, you fucking Nazi.
Oh, you know what? Like,
what are you talking about? He's got a Trump shirt on. What more evidence do you need?
My initials are AH. No, my initials are HA, and his are AH. I was born on April 2nd. He was born on April 20th. Oh my God. I mean, there's so many
numerologists.
Oh, fuck! I was born in October in a year, and Hitler was also born in a year. Fuck.
Hey, you're not going to like this. Some of the oxygen you just breathed in, so did Hitler.
Well, I mean, at least
you're a breath Nazi.
So did Stalin breathe in that same air.
Hey, well, at least it wasn't Cyclone B that I was breathing in.
Yeah. Agent Orange.
You do know what Zyklon B is, don't you, Harry?
Oh, that's the main gas they use to.
I've just gone full Nazi. There's so much material the leftists can. You fucking did it! Shit. Oh.
You're
literally Hitler.
I know. It's like, good Lord, like, I just need. Well, actually, yeah, he didn't have blonde hair. He had black hair. So
he also had syphilis. Do you have syphilis, Harry? You should tell your wife to be.
No, I guess I should go to the doctor and just check out to make sure.
Because she's going to be really pissed off, man. Oh, fuck. What the fuck has happened to this?
We're a little bit off topic now.
I don't want to go and put my fucking Trump shit on, man.
How did we get from pedophiles on planes to Hitler in like 3 minutes? That was pretty good.
Well, you know, everything is Hitler. So.
Well, because all of us are Hitler. Don't you realize that, Simon?
We embody his spirit and mentality every day. With us, we breathe in the Nazism, and we exude the fascism. We're internalizing the fascism.
Do you suffer?
I've got an internalized swastika.
That's probably not that comfy.
Yeah, dude. Seriously, if your intestinal cord looks like that, you should probably go to a doctor. That's not healthy, brother. There's going to be some blockages.
And if somebody's going to just snip this stream and be like, "Look, yep, they're Sieg Heiling, they're a bunch of Nazis." So,
No, I mean,
you never know. I think PewDiePie got a hell of a lot more subscribers after he did it. Oh no, sorry, that was after the Washington Post reported that he was a Nazi because
I know.
he did
Maybe
it.
we should just
The act.
we should just get ourselves some SS gear and dress up in it and just act like Nazis, and then we'll just get more subscribers because it just feeds into that narrative.
Yeah, Harry, we might get more subscribers, but the difference between the three of us and PewDiePie is that all three of us are going to lose our jobs.
I hate my job right now. I don't give a shit if I fucking get fired from this one. Well, I mean, I gotta quit. I gotta quit at some point and find another job. But
that's cool, man. Do you know what? There's
I should just buy some Nazi gear and just walk into work and just start serving people at the drive-thru, saying like, "Yeah," it's like, "Nein, das ist $2.50. Give it now."
Ja, das ist gut on the Autobahn, ja? Oh, see, I love Hitler. Oh.
Hitler sehr guten. It's like, ich schlafe mit deiner Eva Braune. She's sehr guten. Yeah. I know a little
You're
bit.
good at this.
I am actually, you know what? I am actually half German.
You're half German. You're half German, half Canadian. I know this, man.
My biological mother, she was German. My father married her, and they lived there I was actually born in Germany, lived there for 2 years, and then I moved to Canada. So.
Fucking Nazi. Hey, do you know what gay bar is in German?
Gay bar?
Because I'm the sort of person who will know this. It's Schwulenbar.
Schwulenbar.
Swollen bar. Yeah, well, that makes sense.
No, you've got a swollen bar, Simon. It's very different. Very different to a swollen bar. And if you've got a swollen bar, you should probably, I don't know, get some steroid cream to reduce
Probably
the
move the dog off my lap.
Oh,
I'm driving.
I love how Simon brings a whole new meaning to the term dogging.
Oh, that's a cute one there, by the way.
See, I've got a one-man dog piling going on here.
Oh shit!
He's in the driver's seat.
Fucked, mate.
Yeah, he's a bit. He's a rescue dog. He's very clingy.
No,
hey Simon,
he looks very cute.
Can I ask about the car racing that you've got? Like, what are you playing over there, man?
It's actually a car racing and flight cockpit. I don't know if you can see this. That's a joystick base, and over here is the throttles.
He's practicing.
And on here, that's the flight foot pegs because the driving foot pegs are installed, but you can just like pick them up and drop them down below.
He's practicing how to be a white supremacist in Charlottesville, and he's also practicing.
And you probably can't see the motorbike controller from where you are. Yeah, I'll have to move the camera. I've got to sit on motorbike one as well.
In his flight simulator, he flies in a Heinkel and drops bombs on London, right?
Too busy roasting skinnies.
No, look, I'm only interested in the car aspect. I'm not interested in flight simulators.
Oh, I love flight simulators. I used to play this game Warbirds. I don't know if you guys knew what that one is.
Oh yeah, I know Warbirds.
Yeah, I think I play Warbirds. Yeah.
Oh, I used to play that when I was younger. It was so fun. But now I have a PlayStation and I just do like first-person shooters. But if I could get my hands on a good joystick and download Warbirds, I love playing that. That was one of my favorite games.
Cool. Now this live stream's turned into some sort of like potential Gamergate tribute.
Well, you guys actually
straight white men talking about video
since
games.
you guys have got my YouTube ID now, you can go to my channel and you can actually see my bike simulator in action. I've got a video of it up there.
Oh no, we're gonna just dox the fuck out of you.
His curtains are gray or something.
You're fucked. You're fucked, mate. Woo, woo.
Knock it off.
What?
Ooh. Well, he's talking to his dog.
All right, you're going to sleep.
It is 7:15 in the morning here.
All right, man. I'm fucked. I've got to kick off, man. I was going to eat dinner like 2 hours ago.
I know, right? We've been streaming for like 4 hours.
4 hours.
I know.
Yeah.
That's nuts. And we still got 4 viewers, or apparently we still got 4 viewers.
No. We don't have 4 viewers.
4 people watching right now. Well, they're probably just asleep, and they're just got their like YouTube app still open or something.
Yeah. There's some weird people out there, man. Into this sort of shit, but I'll have to talk to you in the next couple of days on Sky Parry, man.
Okay. Yeah. No.
But yeah. Hey, Simo.
Yo.
What are you doing, man? I can see you massaging a dog, but
Oh yeah, it's so he doesn't start sooking, because you trust me, you guys don't want to hear that.
yeah, no, that's all good. That's all good. Look, I'm single, but I've never gotten that desperate.
Oh, they're making fun of you. They're making fun of you.
No, I'm making fun of you, Simon. The dog is an innocent victim in your desperation.
You're just being taken advantage.
He's not a victim. I brought him up right.
Jesus Christ. Okay, right. Never put this guy on
this world, isn't there, buddy?
Never put Simon in the cargo carry area of an airplane with an unaccompanied dog.
Profile. Oh man. Well, hey, remember, where does it stop? Where does it stop?
All right. It stops right here. We're gonna wrap this shit up.
Yeah, we're gonna wrap it up right. You know, that was a good stream. We were gonna end it, but we kept on going. But yeah, we actually had a good stream. I think that was actually quite productive.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, yeah, if you loosen the definitions of productivity, that was absolutely fantastic. But good chat. Good chat. Really enjoyed it. Thanks. Well, I'm going to let you lead out, but I just want to say thank you again. This is the second time I'm going to say thank you. Thank you again for having me on, Harry. And Simon, thanks for jumping in, man. And it's been really enjoyable. And
yeah, good to put a full face and a voice to the name.
No, well, I mean, the only reason
you're like a bloody Muslima.
Well, actually, the only reason I actually appreciate your jumping in was that it allowed me to have more frequent cigarette breaks. Your content was shithouse.
He's talking to you.
Right, well, I love both of you. I'm going to check out now. Thanks for having me on, gang. And peace. Good night to you, Simon. Good morning to you, Harry, my man. I'll catch you later, boys.
All right, yep. So everybody, this is Swamp Harry. We're going to be wrapping this up.
Peace.
You guys remember to check these two guys out on the social medias. Simon, he's at SimRob72, and Chris here is at Chris Logic Media. So check those guys out on Twitter. They got themselves some YouTube channels as well. So also check those out. And don't forget to check me out at Swamp Harry. And you know what you know what channel you're already looking at on. So Just don't forget, if you guys popped in, just remember to like, subscribe, comment, and all right, well, have a good day. And remember, guys, we got to drain that swamp.